bring it back. All right.
We will need
It's
a
not
moderator.
it's it's fine, bro. Like we good.
Yes.
Okay, let's have a conversation. That, like I said, that this is the important part. That's why it's been
female can unmute
bubbling.
itself now.
It's that's why we've been it's been going back and forth for a while. It's been bubbling over. You know what I'm saying? It is what it
bubbling.
Is,
this has been bubbling over since I think before the whole Stellar Blade drama, because Disparity was one of the leading people when the whole Gamergate 2 shit dropped. No, I think I'm one of the last more authentic just gamers left to the round. Like, you got TMO6, by the way, which I should leave here because I want him to justify why he hates Expedition 33.
Okay, here.
Okay, well,
like this whole let's just go to the origins of this. This shit between you. We used to be
live. Okay, I see. Okay.
So do you understand? This goes back to probably before Gamergate 2, and then you accuse me of mimicking. Like, would you like to see my subscriptions, who I'm subscribed to on YouTube? Would you like to? Would you like to see that?
So, okay, let's back up.
Okay, would you
so
like that?
Let me ask. Okay, whoa. Before we get to that, okay. Here I am playing moderating on somebody else's channel. I need to be paid for this shit. Anywho, I agree. Damn. Okay, so the original issue. Okay, let's go back to the underlying issue. Okay, so Tiamat, you think Disparity is what not a real gamer in terms of what he's talking about?
And no, I think he's a hypocritical creator. You think he's hypocritical? I've seen the decline because I know what they look like. It's like I've had this conversation with Riddler, and Riddler didn't get this.
Okay.
I purged about 3 years ago or 4 years ago. I purged a large majority of the dishonest creators that I watched.
Okay.
And I don't go back to them.
So okay, all right, I got you. Okay, dishonest creators. Okay, I like this.
Riddler wants to join, but go ahead and finish your thing first. Riddler asked.
Yeah, he wants to join. Okay, cool.
Oh, now he wants to have a conversation.
He's been.
It's because you put his name out there, and he wants.
Exactly. He wants to.
Is Riddler tagged in this?
No, you literally said his name, and you're putting words in his mouth.
Is it going to reach his channel? Then no. Then I have no reach.
Okay, but wait. No. Well, okay, so let's go back. First off,
because you were claiming that I have reach, or I don't. And this is what.
But no, let's go back on topic. Go ahead. Go back.
So when
what I'm saying, wait, T-Matt, back up. So you said dishonest creators. Okay, what do you consider? Okay, a dishonest creator, and just stick on the question.
I've been on YouTube since like 2008.
Same. Okay, I've been
that. Okay. So like. You know, when I survived the commentary era of YouTube,
okay,
I literally have survived through the different eras of YouTube, and I hope Riddler understands this. When I say a creator is dishonest or hypocritical, I've seen this either in the commentary space, gaming, because majority of what I care about on YouTube is creation.
Okay,
and if someone actually is like a smaller creator, I have more respect for the average creator than I have for a person with 30, 40,000 subs. Somehow they're like at 1 million and they're just feeding the damn algorithm. If you're to the point that you're just feeding the algorithm, I'm not going to like you as a creator. If you come off as somebody who, I know it has to be done, but when you, like in the comic space, like we go over Gamergate, Comicsgate drama and stuff. I watched EVS. I'm like, oh, this is Ethan Van Sciver, who used to draw for stuff. Then before he started to descent into madness with Trashcast and all of that, I recognized the signs he was slipping.
Okay, so from what I'm getting, and now I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong with this.
Yeah.
So you're thinking that in let's just put this scope back, because I know with the whole Comicsgate shit, I can totally understand with you with the Comicsgate shit, because like I said, I've seen, and when I agree with you with EVS's decline, because he's just a fucking piece of shit. So what you're assuming is when it comes down to on the gaming side, you're thinking that a lot of the gamers are doing something similar to that fact, to where they're only making content because it's getting them the views that they think they want. Is that what you're accusing like Disparity of? that he's going down that similar route?
He's doing the
yes
baby.
Or no?
He's
doing the baby
He's
version.
doing the baby path that Griffin and Fertanga plays, and people like who were the reason I stopped watching a lot of
Endymion and stuff like that. I'm guessing too. You're going to put
Endymion. I have mixed opinions on.
Okay, all right.
Like Endymion's like hypnotic.
I mean, you can't make an exception for him though. He did the same. Okay. He went the same route. You can look at his earlier stuff, and he went the same route. Like, go ahead. So you got to give him too.
He came from the more political fighting, the progressives.
Okay,
that's his big deal, and he is an Assassin's Creed player, so he's going to play it right or die. Now, does he feed that particular? It's like saying, okay, I'm going to ask you this since we're public.
Okay,
what is your opinion of people like Griffin Gaming or Fertanga plays Disparity?
I don't care about them because I don't watch them. I just don't care. I don't care. I see their bullshit on Twitter. I just don't care. I don't.
Why on Twitter? See, part of my problem with you is when I look at your Twitter feed, and it takes like if I were drinking, I would have to be drunk to deal with you. Because I say this on your Twitter feed, because whatever the gaming outrage is, like, as a gamer, right? Like, I was gonna buy. You literally respond to every rage.
I'm gonna ask you one question.
Yes.
What are you having the issue with? What name? Give me the tweet or whatever you're having the issue. Give me one. Two needed. Give me one though, please.
Okay, there's two.
Okay.
I can easily find these. You remember when you said you had one the other day where you actively said that you responded in a thread about Chi-Coms or the head of Blizzard or an ex-CEO taking over Discord.
Yes, because you know why? Because it's called a shitification. It's called have you heard the term shitification? I think we all have, correct? Where you get something good as a consumer for a while, right? Discord was really great for its consumers for a while, correct?
But sometimes.
Yes. So the point still stands though. Activision or whatever, the new CEO, if you've seen Activision's track record, Discord is about to become a shitified. We're not going to have the Discord that we have.
You know what's funny? You know one of the channels
you think we're going to have that? I mean,
yes. Well, I'm sorry. You're right, LG. I think that's going to happen.
See, when I say stuff like this, because you don't think this is an argument that's new to me, because Belluar News, right, covered that Discord is going to probably get a new CEO and go public, which it's 50-50 at this rate. I know this goes over people like TM's head and other people, but if you've been around Alive long enough to know, do you know how many different communications there are? Because when I started team gaming, you had TeamSpeak, you had Games Radar?
I think it was.
But what is the main conversation though? Can we go back to that?
So when you talk about shitification, it's just what was Discord founded upon?
It was founded upon TeamSpeak or Mumble, which again he would not like. They wanted an alternative. He would not like spending money on things like this on TeamSpeak. And Mumble, or even Skype. So we needed an alternative, right? The good alternative was what? Discord. We all hopped on. I think everyone in their entire world probably has a Discord, correct? So
no.
For the most part.
Well, it wasn't. By the way, Disparity. It wasn't until recently when you actually talk about the. Because what's funny about when you talk about Discord and stuff, you often forget about what's the one corporation still use. I'm blanking it because it gets the Microsoft one that
Meet or something like that. It used to be Skype, but
is Skype. Skype was still
Skype
used,
used to be a thing. But Skype got taken over by it's Meet
Skype
now, I think,
was a big one.
Microsoft.
But this is nothing new. When you want to talk about shitifications of places, half of Discord was founded as a free communication. That's the stuff I find. That is like rage baiting 101. When you interject yourself in either the JRPG space or that, you know you're engaging in. You know
you're engaging. I do gotta stop you right there because what this is just based off of what I'm looking at with the Disparity channel because I followed Disparity for a while. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the things that Disparity talks about is stuff that he's interested in. So I've told you this before, and I think I've talked with you about this before. But if I haven't, I am going to correct it here. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything, if you look at Disparity's channel, and Disparity sitting right here below me, technically on the screen, you can see it. And he'll tell me if I'm right or wrong. Most of Disparity's channel has been stuff that interests him. Okay, and most of the stuff was been the more niche stuff, and when it comes to gaming, the TRPGs, right? The turn-based, not only just RPGs.
Has he ever, in your opinion, ever bent over backwards for access codes or bragged about getting access codes?
To my knowledge, no. But he has gotten some access codes from other smaller up and coming game companies.
Yes, and I have stated this that when I was on Twitch before in the past, I never got access codes to indie games that I can showcase on my channel. They came to me in my DMs. I can show you several, about 30 game developers actually. And I pick and choose which ones I want to show that actually interests me. If it looks good to me, I will showcase it. If it doesn't, I'm not going to showcase it.
Now here's where we have the actual.
But let LG finish though.
So what I'm saying is, in this case, and I get your grievances in general, right? I like I said, I understand where you're at, Matt, because I get the grievances, the lack of I guess the lack of authenticity. That's the word I'm looking for. Authenticity is that what we're looking for, right? And I get it. When you're on YouTube, you think that a lot of folks aren't authentic because of they're able to present themselves. That's not always true. Okay, and I gotta nip that in the bud here. And this goes for not only for you, Matt. This goes for Disparity. This goes for Toxic and anybody else that looks at this or anybody else, right? And this is how I can attack people and say that it's jealousy when it comes to a lot of these other creators, because a lot of people, they move like this. They assume, the first thing they assume when somebody's a bigger person, they automatically assume, and I've been guilty of this too at some points, that just because that they're a bigger creator or they know how to get that level of of eyes on the project,
clout farm.
They think that it's clout. They think that it's just, they know how to this, that, and the third, that this is not genuine. That's not always the case. Sometimes you do have to look at stuff, and there are times where people who do generally pivot. Right, let's just make this the case. Now, some people don't like. I know Disparity doesn't like Endymion. We know this. Okay, we and him have talked about this, and I'm just saying, content wise, objectively speaking, content wise, there are times where people can shift because some people may have an opinion about something that may hit. You know what I'm saying? That may resonate with a lot of people, and now that causes them to pivot. And now there's like, okay, well, shit. Now people like this shit. I'm going to there's people that are actually hearing me, so now I'm going to keep going. Okay,
that causes a shift in an entire channel.
It can,
because
it can, it can, which can. However, now I have in my personal experience. Okay, I talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. Okay, that's just me. All right, I talked about the stuff that the so-called woke people are talking about now. I got them beat by at least 5 years. Okay. I was sitting there talking shit about fucking, I didn't agree with 100% with the Cookout Black Girl Gamers and when they were doing their bullshit years ago. And this is right when, and like I said, and I ended up trying to get low key canceled for it because I called out fucking several people from the Black Girl Gamers and the Cookout on their bullshit. Okay. Matter of fact, that's how me and Disparity met. I honestly, if memory serves me correctly. Okay. So there are some people that just will talk about whatever they want to talk about, algorithm be damned. You feel me? So
but I don't it's not always I don't like it when I see people like,
and I'm gonna keep this in mind.
Twitter feed. Your Twitter feed reeks of somebody like when you tweet. Okay, do you ever feel bad, Disparity, that you retweet talking points of people like Tall Black Nerd or the Mighty Queef or Airbagged?
I mean, I retweet a lot of. I'm gonna keep it buck. I retweet a lot of people.
Do you not realize when you retweet Airbagged or people like them, it makes you look like shit?
I mean, that's how you feel like, sir. That's how you feel.
I don't necessarily. I disagree. Like, I get your point.
This is my opinion.
Well, yeah, I get what you're saying, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean it's true because some people don't. Like, there are some people who do not know the extent of what airbag is. There's some people who don't know about tall black nerd or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And
or Mighty Queef.
Or Mighty Keith, Queef or Keith, whatever you want to call it, right? There are some people I don't really care much for like his content, his video content, cool. You know what I'm saying? You know, up until the part where he talks about the fucking Assassin's Creed bullshit. But yeah, his content's cool. You know what I'm saying? But outside, like on Twitter, I don't fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I really don't. Like I unfollowed him a while ago, and I don't see much of his shit. You feel me? That's just me, and that's how I handle the shit. Like I said, you know, just because somebody retweets something, and I don't think
like,
I think people need to
bring.
Is,
I think
what
it comes down to is that you're very personally invested to the online culture. I'm not invested like that. When I see somebody, if a tweet looks good to me, if I'm like, you know what, I can agree with that. You know, sure, I'll probably like it, or I'll probably. I see why Elon Musk hit the likes because I think it's for. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's for people like you. I'm not even trying to be mean like that. It's just the way because the way you're coming off like I don't like. You're actually coming off like a leftist.
Me more than like, anything else.
But here's you're coming off like a leftist of disparity. I don't like you because you're retweeting somebody I don't like.
No, I just think
you see that?
No. I think you play a game. I think you play.
I don't think he. But see, that's what, and that's where the disconnect is. See, that's the disconnect. You're thinking he's playing a game, and he's telling you he's really not.
Yeah, like I've been telling you, like I'm not.
He's been telling you he's not.
In
he's like, bro.
private, you've called me a culture war person.
Because
if I showed you my fucking subscriptions on YouTube, you would be astonished that it's not the mainstream people that you think.
Okay, so I know. Okay, so I see you're getting angry. I'm gonna need you. I know this.
I'm not even angry about it. I'm just making a point.
But let me tell you why I believe that you're a culture war. I'm gonna go on a small little rant. I used to be heavily between 2020 and now. 2023 or 4-ish. I used to be heavily part of this. When me and LG started really talking, we started talking with the black folks first on Twitter. LG, am I correct in that? They went after me when we did a whole bunch of that shit. Correct, LG? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they did. And so that's when I got invested in this little culture shit, black culture stuff, yada yada. Woo. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to gaming culture, right? I used to be heavily part of it. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I used to agree with people like Melody Mac. I used to agree with people like Endymion. I used to agree with a whole bunch of people. But then eventually, I'm just like, okay, in my personal opinion, I see a lot of people talking. Yap, 5 hours. Like you want to talk for 4 hours. Yap, 4 or 5 hour talk. And not getting anything done. Not getting any action. I get that. And this is actually somebody who I actually agree with, and I'm gonna bring his name. His name is the Shagsworth. He actually did a car conversation, which he said that I don't think this whole culture shit can be worked online. It needs to be worked offline because social media is not pushing this anywhere. And I agree with him when he made that statement. Now, anyways, though, yes, I left the whole culture war shit for the simple fact that I was told by Hora Armada in a tweet, like you like to bring a tweet in a tweet. That she stated, disparity is on our side, but he speaks a little bit different. But who that sounded like? That sounded like to me Black Twitter. And you know what that brings up? That's called tribalism. You know what? And I don't.
Yeah, and if you realize this, you should have learned. Do you see on screen? Do you see on screen? Let him finish. Where is the consumer disc?
And that's fine. I appreciate your showing that is fine. But I'm telling you what it is. That happened about in 2023. That some nigga called me a black pill. You know what? I didn't know what the fuck black pill was because you know why? I don't sit chronically on the internet like that. I might post a tweet here and there, maybe because it's my opinion. Yeah. But I don't live on Twitter. If I post a tweet, yes, it is my opinion. If I say that, yes, did I say like? You brought up earlier Nintendo Switch 2. Yes, I don't fuck with the Nintendo Switch 2.
You were I'm not going to spend around the time.
I asked you earlier if you can please find the tweet that says I'm praising. Please go ahead because I've never praised it. I said I know damn way I'm gonna spend $80
to get a Google Doc.
I said there ain't no damn way I'm gonna spend $80 fucking dollars. Actually, matter of fact, make that $90 on the Nintendo game. That's an asinine. And for anybody who thinks that's a great thing, you're fucking retarded. And I would say that live right here.
Because that's at least good. We share that opinion because this is the thing. Like I could have called. Do you know what's funny? When I saw the marketing for the Switch 2, I knew that shit was overblown. I knew Nintendo was gonna fumble the damn ball. You basically, from what I've ever gathered about you, is you have every single console. You have all of this. And even though I've said Renowned and LG have both played on their Switches. And Switch, well, fine. Like, I've never been a Nintendo person because by the time that happened, I was already way past a lot of consoles right when I got into PC. Because I'm like, okay, I'll have the Game Boys. I've had those. But I didn't get into the 3DSs. But I knew the power of the Switch. The Switch was. But when I knew when they were going to launch the Switch 2, I'm like, this is Nintendo. They're going to be 5 to 6 years behind, at least, because it's Japanese. And it's weird to say because when you figure it out, they had one job. And you will have the Nintendo cucks or the Nintendo drones who will always suck up what they buy. It's just like you have every person, a Pokemon game that sucks, they will still buy it.
But at the same time, so I will say this because I didn't get a chance to say this, and I think I said it in the Disparity stream the other day when they was talking about the Switch 2. Okay, for all intents and purposes, and this is just my personal opinion, all right?
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes, the Switch 2 is an upgrade.
Yes.
In terms of specs from the Switch. Okay. Mm-hmm. OG Switch can't put out really, output is like ass, really, if you really think about it. It barely does 1080p when docked, if memory serves me correctly. Okay. This one, the Switch 2, on a simple level, it can up with the dock. It can go up to, I think, 4K. 4K 60 when docked. Okay, cool. There's other stuff that's in the other specs within the Switch 2 that's actually fundamentally better than the Switch 1. Okay, so yes, for those that's saying it's not an upgrade, that's why I fundamentally disagree with you. It is an upgrade. On a technical from a technical standpoint, it's technically an upgrade. Yes. Okay. Now, does it warrant the same price? Now, like I said, you also got to go back. Switch came out when there was not a lot of handhelds, right? Outside of the Switch's own shit, right? So now you got the Switch 2. Now we got the ROG Ally. You got the motherfucking Steam Deck. Really, if you really think about it, it's the Nintendo Switch is technically its own handheld. Really, because it's within its own ecosystem. You know what I'm saying? But
because the console, I've been the leading proponent, and I see the 50, 60-year-old flipping. Let me show that. Let me show this. Okay. This is the people that follow you. This is the people that fucking follow you.
And that's fine. Like, look, everybody. I think I'm gonna keep it a buck. Everybody follows each other. Like LG can say something. I don't have to agree with him. Some days I can agree with him. One day
I tried talking to this guy. You don't want to watch my content? Get out. Flip it.
Like that,
Do you want me to just
but here's the thing,
ban you?
Like I said, you have to understand that there are people that follow each other. We all follow each other to a certain degree.
Yes, this is the problem.
But let me go, Tim. But
again, you're taking this so personal. If Flippin follows me, that's cool. I follow Flippin because he's an intelligent guy who also plays fucking Elder Scrolls Morrowind on his YouTube channel. Cool. Ain't barely no one playing goddamn Morrowind right now, but that's a whole different conversation.
Yes.
Another thing is like, look, it's like I follow T-Mac. T-Mac says some pretty intelligent shit. Do I have to agree with him all the time? No, I'll actually let him know. Me and T-Mac had Toxic. I mean, we had a Toxic. I'm sorry. Me and Toxic had plenty of conversations where I disagree with him. We agreed with each other, and we kept it a buck. Me and LG had plenty of conversations. We kept it a buck. We didn't fight each other. We didn't say shit to each other. And I've been knowing LG for about 4 or 5 years now. You know,
we ain't getting no cancel spree. I'm not going on Twitter, or trying to cancel him for his ideas and stuff that I may disagree with. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's fact. Go ahead, continue.
Yes, my bad. It's like when I speak on video games. Yes, I speak on. I think I always stated this for the past 2 to 3 years. If the game looks good to me, I don't give a fuck if it's what political spectrum that you're on. If you're on the left, if you're on the right, if it's good and it plays good and has a coherent story, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna play it because it's my money. You don't pay my bills. I don't pay your bills. That's how we're gonna keep it a buck. If it looks good to me, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna play it. That's how it is.
No, and I'm gonna make this very clear. Mm-hmm. And I hope, Riddler, you're watching. If you're here, this is why I brought this up, and this was the point. Because there was a period where probably we were cooler right up until that whole shit. And then TM06, you started echoing his and doing the low tier god shit.
Riddler's, I don't think Riddler, I'm going to keep it. I don't think Riddler's like that, but, I digress.
No, I brought this up because, from my perspective, do you know why I asked him that? Because I respect people like Riddler because of his ethics. But from what it may just be my perception. from coming from an older part of YouTube, right? You saw some of my subscriptions. These are shit. Not a lot are new channels. A lot of them are old. They've been there a while, and it's very rare do I give subscribe to a channel. These people have been around. The thing is, when I saw you do that tweet, you were involved in that tweet about South of Midnight, right? And you bought it. You were in that exchange with this Renown. I asked Renown, I go, when was the last time Disparity mentioned you? Or did you mention him? And it wasn't until then.
Because
and then,
because they didn't have the conversation. In matter of fact, I even said this, and it's live. I still have the tweet up.
Here.
I said y'all should have. I said Renown Zero and Disparity should have the talk.
And keep this in mind. Keep this in mind. I said this 3 times notifications. I said this back in December. I said this back in January, and I said it last time we had a conversation. And I said, you know what? I will talk to you with respect. I will sit down here and we can have a conversation. Because matter of fact, I'm like, sometimes, you know what? I actually want to bring him on my podcast because I want to talk about games sometimes. But guess what though? We can't do that because he doesn't want to have that kind of conversation. I'm not going to sit here and yell at him. Like I said, I had Words of Paradise on my podcast not too long ago. I had LG on my podcast.
I mean, Words is okay. The thing is, this is what I talk about hypocritical creators. What strikes me with you is you have a cult of personality around you. The thing is, that gives me red flags, Disparity. Because when a lot of this started, call it a little bit of quote unquote PTSD from dealing with stuff. Like when all you people jumped on Goonergate, what you called that. Look, to me, anyone who quotes certain creators, which I know are reactionary bait assholes, if I look at someone like either Froggy Tony or Mexafrog or anybody who quotes Saddam Quartering or Melanie Mack as outrage bait, I go, you are actually you clearly have a fucked up algorithm and you still think the Quartering or Melanie Mack's opinions are still relevant. If I look,
I agree. They're useless. They're retarded to me.
Because
they spew Christian bullshit. I mean, don't keep in mind, I'm a Christian too, but I'm not that kind of hardcore.
Right. But what I'm saying is, at some point, there has to be a level, and this is my issue with you, T-Man. And I told you this. I just told you this a few minutes ago. Okay. And we bring it up. I know you brought up.
Also, bring up my screen real quick. I'm going to show you something. You want to know who I follow? I can show you my following. I follow tech niggas. I follow some gaming niggas, and I follow some pop and loom bitches. Okay. So look. This is who I watch. This is it right here. You see Jerry Springer? That's the goat right there. That's the goat.
PC, that's the Shagsworth. Yeah.
Do you see any culture person in my algorithm? Look, find me somebody other than Mighty Keith. Other than that,
Keith. Yeah.
Oh, Nutty's got some good tutorials though. I ain't gonna lie to you. Nutty's got some good tutorials. What do y'all see?
Do y'all see any culture nigga in my feed right now? This is all tech and gaming Negroes. And I follow Mike Hollow. And
Mike, shout out to Mike. Yeah, shout out to Mike. He's cool too.
Like, yes, this is it. That's my favorite. I don't follow no goddamn Melanie Mac. I don't follow no other. I've been following Max Melanie dude for the past 5-10 years.
Same. You know, and some of the stuff I don't agree with it. Like he's gotten there's certain stuff that I don't agree with when it comes to certain things.
But Disparity, why is it I feel? Do you understand why I feel you echo the talking points of Airbagged, Mighty Queen?
Also, I do follow the hot
or
chicks.
Whatever.
They're funny as fuck. I will say that they're funny as fuck.
Yeah,
I do follow.
But what I'm trying to tell you, let me back up, right? So let me make this clear, right? Like I told you with the whole thing with Rilla, right? The biggest issue that I had with you, what I wouldn't say it's an issue, but the biggest I guess quirk, and I understand you had the PTSD, and you mentioned it earlier. You had PTSD dealing with other people, right? You have to learn how to
shoot first, ask questions later, and hope for the best. Because
but that's a problem.
That's why I said I try to say hold this off a day or two until cooler heads are around. Because I was going to get my stuff, and I was going to do literally, I was going to make a goddamn Google Doc, spend about a day or two getting half a day doing a Google Doc just to go through. And
but then
okay.
Like I told you, hold on, wait.
Like.
Let me finish this because you mentioned Vision Dark Riddler, and like I said, when I came in the stream that Friday, because I had to go to work that day. I remember this is right before I bought Expedition 33.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Excuse me, that was yesterday.
You already had
yesterday. I was there. That was because I had bought it at the time. So when I went to go check on Riddler, you had already had a conversation in there with him, and I think he was already, he was playing The Witcher. So, but I'm gonna tell you this: just because people are cool with certain people, one, you don't know to what extent. That is a big key. You don't know to what extent people are cool with. You don't understand. You don't know what the depths of what people are going through. You get what I'm saying? So just because me and Disparity are cool,
I get it. Hold on, this will give you the insight. I come from the school of thought.
I'm not done yet. I
about
get it.
6 degrees of separation.
Fair, right? And we kind of low key talked about that, but hold on, let me finish. Okay, what I'm saying is just because me and Riddler are cool with Disparity, you don't know to what level, right? 6 degrees of separation is cool, but you don't know to what degree. That's why you got to kind of like chill out, back up real quick, and try to understand shit, right? Because you talk with me, you already know. Like, I'm cool with Disparity. I let him have his free reign. There are times where me and him disagree on stuff.
Yeah,
it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I may not agree with his point about the Switch 2, or for example, you know what I'm saying, that just because he may hang with Toxic or TMO6, that doesn't mean I'm going to label him a certain way.
I'm not going to label them their opinions. When
exactly.
I look at certain,
what I'm saying is,
people, I don't like people. LG, I don't like it when I start seeing similar people, because there's my internal group is all different than me.
Okay,
this is me off YouTube. This isn't like a person I surround myself, because I cannot stand echo chambers. But when I've seen the Cult of Disparity, this is what always done it. And let me get my point out, because here,
go get your point out.
From what I see about you and when I dealt with your Discord, it felt like a fucking cult. That was why it was always uncomfortable.
Well,
it was always like,
I don't agree.
Disparity's balls.
I don't agree with that. I mean,
it's the weirdest shit.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. In my Discord, I think in my rule set too, I allow a whole bunch of people, different types of people in my Discord. Basically, you can ask LG that. I allow you can be gay, straight, retarded, left, right, whatever in my Discord. We sit there, we talk conversations. The majority of people
ball lick you.
But I'm gonna be honest with you.
I was at culture war.
No, but here's the thing: the majority, because I'm gonna get to why. The majority of people in my Discord, they don't care. They really don't. This is why let me tell you. And I used to talk about
Disparity.
I used to talk about
Disparity, not the cultural shit.
I used to talk about the cultural shit, and then I learned, like, when they told me, like, Sean, you bring up this cultural shit all the time. Like, you know what? I actually have been doing that, so I quit talking culture war stuff with them, and that's what they don't, because you know what, they don't care. Niggas just got home from a long day of work. They don't want to sit here and hear what happened on Twitter or what happened on this. People
cool
they don't care.
The point is they're a part of Disparity's Discord because they're cool with Disparity. There are people in there, T-Matt, like, you don't understand, like, so you may have met Disparity via YouTube or Twitter or whatnot. There are some people that may have met him through that. They know him before he was Disparity. Okay, they know him from his other older YouTube name. There's people that know him before that. You know what I'm saying? Before he became Disparity. So like you gotta kind of respect that. Like a lot of the people they're not there for the culture war stuff. They're not there for the same reason. They're just there to hang out with Disparity.
I'm gonna be the first person to acknowledge. Like, this is why when I look at, I've been around YouTube long enough to know when people this is what I always think sometimes people are so stupid, and this maybe will help understand why my thought process is the way it is. Right? It's the way it's like these people sometimes. So let's say a content creator shifts their creation. I personally, take where I say I'm 50-50 on Endymion. His political takes are really spot on. Like, they are 100% correct, because he's a Canadian that talks about, and he understands.
What does he have to do? What does Endymion have to do with me, though? This is between me and you.
No, I think there's a creator. A creator shit. That's why I say you. Oh, that's why I said you're kind of stupid sometimes. You can't follow arguments because when you start losing. He's shifted to covering gaming and Goonergate. Like, he'll take an angle that feeds something as part of his crowd, and that brings either into it. Because when he first popped on, he was talking about the progressives, not the liberals, the progressives warping culture. But when certain stuff happened, I noticed the shift in his content. That brings in another either fresher face to his content or brings in people. If you've been around YouTube long enough, you can see the shift. But with you, there was a period when you started harping on Goonergate. It's like, take with Riddler. Like, the Goonergate shit tweaks me to a certain degree. Because I'm like, I'm the person who said Gamergate has never ended. Because it took. Because I have been the person fighting to at least preserve spaces. I come from when you played cards in a hobby shop. You saw D&D people. You saw this. I have seen death in my hobbies. So I know what the signs look like.
Okay, I think I see.
This is the thing. Now do you understand? When I start judging...
I see what you... So, once again, that goes back to the PTSD part, right? So, at this point, and I'm hitting you from a logical perspective here.
Yes.
So, I want you... Like I said, I'm not being mean to nobody. I'm just telling you straight up. And we've kind of had this discussion before. It's been a minute, but we've had something similar. I get the having the... you've seen the death of certain hobbies, your hobbies, and I get it. Like, we don't want that. You know what I'm saying? We didn't properly gatekeep from people and keep people out that were not conducive to our environment. You know what I'm saying? Because we wanted people to come in and enjoy it. We thought they was going to enjoy it. They turned out to
kick you out.
You know what I'm saying? They turn around, they change the shit out and try to kick you out in the process. Okay, I've had some of that happen. Okay, I've had some of that happen to me, and I get the PTSD part. However,
it's the
what you
cautious have to, learning.
Exactly. But what you have to understand, and I've told you this, right? What you have to understand is just because you might see some signs of some shit, this is where you have to understand and ask and take the time. And sometimes with certain people, you gotta know when and where to do it. You can't just come in guns blazing and saying, hey, look, this is what because it looks like this. I'm shooting first. I'm going in guns blazing. Anyway, I was blasting type shit. Because now what happens is now you get people turned off from you. You know what I'm saying? Because on a real team, man, you have some smarts about you, dude. Like you're a smart dude. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not glazing nobody. As facts. Like we have good conversations. It's just that when sometimes you come across as you kind of come across as slightly authoritarian in some cases because now you got to be like I said, you think that because me and Riddler are cool with disparity that we got to recover from.
What I mean. Let me clarify that.
Okay.
I think because what it is because of certain reactions. Because before I DM Disparity today, I haven't DM'd him for fucking months since the whole blowout since last year.
Okay. Excuse me.
Right? I doom scroll through Twitter and I'm just blah, 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 blah. That's what I do. Like, I just go look through Twitters and people I follow and I'm like, does this look interesting? Because the problem with people like Disparity sometimes, I feel, is you talk to them in private, they're different than their public-facing perception.
I think, sir, I'm going to be honest, I've been the same for the past like 3-4 years. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I was going to tell you. Like, no, I get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from, but that's why I told you. That this goes back to what I keep telling you.
I've been hella consistent for the past 3 or 4 years.
I just have a thing of, why is it when you conduct your Twitter presence, you have said, you do not like Twitter. Do you know the real people? Okay, I had the biggest respect for the people who went to Blue Sky. They fucked off. Okay, I have respect for them in this one aspect.
Okay.
They deactivated their Twitter accounts, and they don't come back.
Fair enough.
Which, that says more than that says to a content creator that keeps theirs there, then they private it, and because they still need Twitter access. To
give me 1 second.
I will say it's honest. There was a section in my stuff coming up through YouTube, leftist brain rot and dealing with it is annoyinger than hell. But when it comes to gaming, I used to at one point follow Griffin Gaming, look at his stuff occasionally. I remember when Actman was a valid source in the community. Not anymore. He's just whatever, sticks his finger to the wind where the wind blows. Am I right or wrong on that Disparity?
I repeat that. I was talking to somebody for the last 10 seconds. Sorry.
So, when I've seen the death of gaming YouTube, I am old enough and been around YouTube long enough when some of the people in the gaming space, like Actman, made sense. Now he just sucks on his finger, sticks it to the air, and sees which ways the wind blows before he makes a video. And he's been doing this since the Quantum TV drama.
I mean, yeah, I can agree with that. That's sadly because negativity, and I've been saying this for a long time, negativity brews that shit, and people go where the money flows. That's just it.
And the thing is, with that understanding, because I remember better gaming times on YouTube gaming. I'm not saying YouTube gaming was the first to collapse. Like Griffin, once you understand how Griffin works, like I followed It's a Gundam since about he started. Then Griffin got into it with Gundam, and I'm like, that turned out to be a whole misunderstanding between the two. And then when you understand that, I remember when Fertenga and all these other people were more normal. Because I can't explain to Riddler. Riddler called me a liar when I said, and if I showed this guy's channel, The Bickering Bunch, he's a game developer, right? You respect game developers. When he starts a game series, he has a whole bunch of artists that come out of the Archcast community and Kibbs community. He commissions thumbnails for whatever series he does. He has to commission, like I think I had, like in private, you don't know this unless you ever talk to them. How much do you think a game series, when you pay an artist, what a series of stuff is worth?
Depends. I'm not
Depends.
exactly
I mean,
sure.
I'm not a game dev, so I can't speak on
it's not a game dev as much as that, right?
So for the artist, you're talking about for the artist.
Yes, paying for artists.
It depends. It depends on the artist. Depend on the artist or artist rate or whatever. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So Arch and Kibbs, main ones I really watch if I ever watch for playthroughs. Arch has about the game taste of Jesus. If Riddler thinks my tastes are bad, you should see his. His audience is so divided. They're like, "Oh, why don't you play Expedition 33?" Arch isn't exactly gonna touch that one. He loves GAs and he loves certain things, but he will either now to the point pay it if it's a project. But once that project goes through, he will commission the art because he has to commission the art, and then he does the series. That's not, and it's a weird thing. I don't call that as much of a sellout as much as Kyle. Kyle, if he gets enough donations, but there's only so many times I can watch a playthrough because the community likes to watch him suffer and play Fire Warrior for the 80th time or 100th time.
I mean, if that's what people,
that's the people who come over. They're really genuine because I don't hang out in communities where these people are bad. And this is something I don't. So a lot of these opinions where when I either see, I'm not old enough to remember when Legacy Killer, before he took the L on Cyberpunk 2077.
I don't even know who that is, but go ahead.
Oh, Legacy Killer HD. Used to be the games rumor, kind of like Young Ya. Well, Young Ya used to make more sense until he about sold his soul for Death Stranding. But
so I'm noticing a trend here, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm noticing a trend here. What do you consider as a sellout? This is just like I said. What do you consider as a quote unquote sellout? Because honestly,
I think all creators develop blind spots.
Okay.
And if you develop a blind spot, it's hard to, like, if you stumble as a creator, and I know all creators do this. That's why, like, oh, you just echo. It's like, that's why it pisses me off when you echo people. I'm like, the closest person that I even echo anything from is Arch's and people his community. And that's a very rare sentiment. Very rare do I ever quote him. And it's one of those things of when I think selling out, it just damages your content. When you have like a major blow, let's take like Actman. Actman was a slow drift for him.
No, but real question, so what does that do at the end of the day, though? What does it have to do with me, though? Like,
no. You give me all these bad vibes, and when I've either dealt with you, and I deal with your cultists.
But no, I'm dealing with so there's a couple of there's a couple of things, right? So, and the reason why I'm asking certain key questions because this is something that we can get out because
before you speak out, I'm gonna be keeping the butt. I don't know I have like no issue with you in this kind of sense, team. I'm like, you have all this energy and all this weird aura against me, bro. I'm gonna keep it. I have nothing against you.
Yeah, but
my issue is
I had to clear up. You know what really pissed me off? What added this fuel to this fire?
But
I had to actually clear up shit with Gay Beans because Gay Beans.
He doesn't know who that is.
I don't know who that is.
That is an enemy of me. Who quotes what happened with you and throw it in my face.
Right. So so he said, but that's a whole different. But so T-Man, that hold on, I got the disparity because I know who he's talking to. I know who he's talking to. So this is what I told you. You got to be careful because those idiots like Gay Beans, I'm telling you, like them motherfuckers don't give a shit, bro. Like they literally stir the pot. So they look for anything. These niggas look for anything. Okay, they don't have real friends. Okay, I'm guaranteeing you, these niggas don't have real friends. Yeah. They don't have real friends. They don't have people because anytime they see anybody that has a disagreement, right? They'll do that. Like if me and Renown Zero had a disagreement, they would eat that shit up.
That happens.
So what they're doing is they're taking these natural interactions, right, that are natural between people. Those aren't real people. Okay, in my well, they are real people, but they're not. You get the point. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. Those people, you got to know when to like let them handle them on a separate platter, because I've had some of that shit happen to me. They'll try to use some shit where, oh well, you know, LG, well, where's LG at? Renown Zero said this, where's LG at? I don't give a fuck. Renown Zero can do what he wants. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with him on certain stuff. Like I may not agree with him on everything. So what, I'm in this podcast. So what, I talk with him. We don't agree on everything. That's human. So those idiots are not this conversation. So what I'm trying to tell you is, bro, you gotta ease up on the brakes on that, because you can't do that. Now we got that out the way. Back up to why I asked, what do you consider a sellout, and what does that have to do with disparity? You think a disparity is this and the third. Like I said earlier, when it came down to his community may not want to hear
it's how all of the conducts himself. That's what
he's just chilling because I get that, but they be chilling, bro. They be picking. They really be picking on the spirit.
His community does, but when you look at his social media presence,
but that's different.
But here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you one thing.
Be 100 on your how you handle social media.
I actually made a tweet about this. If you can, I'm gonna post it in chat. I actually made this tweet not too long ago. It's actually a pinned tweet of mine. I'm not here to go on Twitter. I can't post it because I got timed out anyway. But I'm not here on Twitter to have a growth on Twitter.
You're not timed out. I don't have things being posted.
I made it to where this is what I stated. I said, look, if you want to know who I am, here is a thread. I'm a gamer and content creator who became a YouTube partner in 2023. I love real-time strategy and turn-based strategy, JRPGs and RPGs. But ultimately, I play a lot of genres. When it comes to IRL, I consider myself to be an asshole, but once you get to know me and talk to me, I can be a cool dude to kick it with. What I personally won't tolerate is fakeness, which is pretty easy to sniff out. I own basically every major console release and have a good chunk of games to boot. I mainly game on PC / Steam Deck and Nintendo Switch, but will occasionally hop on older consoles. As a gamer, I am very passionate about my hobby and love discussions around video games and upcoming consoles. I'm not simp for gaming companies because that's weird behavior. When it comes to politics, I consider myself apolitical / moderate / centrist. My opinions are of my own. I do not participate in tribalism, as I view that as degenerate behavior. I am black, but I do not subscribe to certain mentality the black community goes through, and I worry about my own, which my own means my immediate family and my family, whatever. If you want to know more, you can DM me. My DMs are open. As for being an ex on Twitter, I'm here to make potential associates / friends and work with game devs. I'm not here to people please. I do not care for my growth on this platform. If you want to ask any questions, you can post down below or talk to me. That's as simple as that. If somehow y'all missed that, that's on you.
He missed it.
That goes with what I'm saying.
What I'm saying.
The reason I call this on bullshit is because he was the one last year, and this is not what ruffled me and Renown's feathers and people like me. Is he's like, show your steamed completion, bitch. Jesus fucking Christ, kill me. That's the sign of I have nothing, but look at my long list of platinum trophies. Jesus, I went through that era.
Does have. I get it. The same thing. But what I'm saying, it's annoying, and I agree. It's annoying to an extent. However, it does. There's a point to it, right? Now that shit don't work on me because I'm gonna be honest with you. I play with whatever the fuck I want when I want, how I want. So, anywho, right? Yeah. My problem with this, right, and the reason why that gets brought up is because a lot of these people that are in the gaming space right now, allegedly, they do not have much as far as they basically they don't put their money where their mouth is. Okay, like how we talked offline.
Yes.
The issue with this is that a lot of these people that are getting these games, they're getting them either, like we mentioned earlier, they're either gifted, okay, from other people or corporations because they see the thing. Now they see the clout, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So the problem with this is that, like I said, you're looking at certain things from one lens, and like I said, I get it. Okay, I totally understand. But when people are telling you it's not what it is, that's exactly what it is. When you're dealing with Disparity, you got to deal with him on a personal level, not on the level of okay.
I'm
not
ask
on
him a question, and this is not
okay. So hold on.
Why did you take the Disparity? Why did you take the L position and the anti-gaming chud position on the fighting cowboy thing?
Fighting cowboy thing.
Okay, so to give you a perspective, fighting cowboy thing is where it's like where you said where we're just chilling. LG, I will say a cold score person came and they said there's a blackie playing this game basically, right? And he went on a 5-10 minute rant. Let's say I think like a 5-10 minute rant, basically saying "fuck out of my house." Basically, I'm not trying to hear. I'm just trying to game you. That's basically what the entire video was. And yes, I agree with that because half the time. No one wanted. I don't give a fuck, man. I'm just trying to game. Dude.
The fighting cat. Oh, that dude. Yeah.
Like the guy, but there was a deeper context to that. He also had. Okay, Disparity. You're a content creator. This is what's interesting to understand. Like you will only know this unless you've been in a troll space. These people. I went back and looked at the chat that wasn't like timed out, and I looked at his own stream, and you could see it. A guy goes into your stream. And makes a stupid statement, and I've seen this guy in Hypnotic's chat and a couple of others like Razorfish chat too.
Okay.
A black man has a Glock. Did you take anything that person says serious off the bat?
You talking about his profile picture?
That was his name.
Me no person.
Oh, that's a dude's. Oh, that was a dude's name.
That was a dude's name.
Yeah, personally, no.
Not even. Don't take that. No, you know that's.
But also too, you gotta also get into the point too of this. This is the other issue with it, right? Even with trolls, like so. Let's use Theo as an example, right? Let's use Theo Lee Ronan, right? Since he's in the chat. Okay, Theo will be playing Marvel Rivals or maybe Tekken, Street Fighter. Mm-hmm. But then people will come in and say, will use his past against him or keep trying to bother him or pester him, right? Mm-hmm. That's what these trolls do. But after a while, it gets annoying because if especially if you're in a competitive mode, you might be losing or you might be in a tough spot or whatever. You're already not really in a 100% receptive to that, to know that that's a fucking troll. Okay. Sometimes you might just say something, and that goes for anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's immune to it because we're all fucking human.
To give you Go ahead. I was gonna say to give you an example, I was streaming split fiction about 2 or 3 weeks, about a month or two ago, or whatever. Right? I had a group of trolls that came in from a thread. We actually found it. I forgot what kind of thread. I forgot what kind of. It was like a fake. It was like a great value Reddit. It was like Ice Poseidon's Reddit or something like that, right? All they do is just sit there and
already. You should know that.
They get there. They what do you call? I think I was about to switch games anyways. So I was like, okay, we just got done playing. We'll switch games anyways. So they come to my stream. Call me a whole bunch of N-words, this, that, and third. Look, I don't give a fuck because I can handle that shit. I don't give a. But at the same time, though, the people in my chat, I treat my stream like it is my house. Yeah. I don't want to see that shit. I don't care. Me personally, I don't care. But
you're right. I agree with you on that.
The people from my chat, though, that's a whole different story. Because you know why? They're here for a good time. They're here to talk shit to me or to have a conversation. So what can I do as a what? Do I just not sit there and like? Let me tell you. I think I only know how. I still got that live stream too. By the way, I actually still got it.
No, but because I echo.
Go
your
ahead.
point.
Let him finish.
I'm almost done. Yeah. I got that live stream up. Still, I still have it up. All I did was say, okay, yeah, and what the fuck? Who are you? I said, y'all some goddamn base. I talked my shit to them, let it go. Then I said, you know what? All right, it's time to turn on subscriber only mode. Basically, it's time for me. Y'all want to talk shit? Give me some money. Other than that, my community, they're my guests in my house. Yeah, I will clean up shop if I have to. I don't give a. Again, I personally don't give a. I'll call you the N-word. I'll call you retarded. I'll call you all that shit. Because I ain't no sensitive motherfucker out here. Okay?
Yeah,
fair. No, but what you and T-Mac, what you have to understand too is like I know, like I said, I've been hanging with you for about a couple years now, so like I get it, okay. But at the same time, what you have to understand is you got to kind of like maneuver that PTSD that you're dealing with. And I like I said, I know what it's like to to have something that you love, and I think we all have that similar feeling of the things that we love are being infected by people that don't really give a shit. However, there's with gaming specifically, there are levels to this shit. There are some people that will only play one type of game, and that's perfectly fine. There are some people that are stuck on one game, and maybe there are people in the community that want them to try other games, and now they're coming from another game trying to make parallels that may not necessarily fit. So as a community, you have to know how, like as somebody like yourself, you got to understand that, oh, this isn't woke, or this may not be this, that, and the third. Now, yes, I've been dealing with some of that shit, and I do agree that a lot of this woke shit to an extent has killed gaming, and we have allowed people, and I made a post about this years ago, and I have a post talking about this, and me and Disparity have talked about this, and me and you have talked about this, and I'm putting it out there now. This is a multi-layered problem, okay? There is multi-layered. Yes, the woke shit that people are describing right now, the forced diversity and all of that shit is a problem. Yes, it's part of the problem, but this is only a layer of the problem. Okay, you got the forced diversity, all that shit at the top. You got the deeper shit. You got the deeper shit. You got like the Alyssa Mercantes, the fucking this whack ass game journalists, the people that are the games quote unquote media that's fucking shit up. That's the middle. That's like the middle end, because that they also kind of control the narrative. You know what I'm saying? On a little bit, they can control the narrative on a deeper scale. You know what I'm saying? But then you have the main roots of the problem, which is something that Disparity actually me and him more agree with. Right? You have the games that are not being optimized for PC properly. You got games that are not not being optimized for PC. Games that are being rushed out. The DLC shit. You know what I'm saying? That's actually more the middle stuff. You have the everything's going microtransaction route. You know what I'm saying? Some of the digital games, and people over relying on digital, because digital will fix everything, this, that, and the third. We can get a patch, or this guy's a game season pass, game pass. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, basically the Fortnite treatment. Okay, that's a bigger problem. And then you got other problems as well, like companies being rushing out stuff, putting out shitty problems, being backed by being backed by bigger companies to intentionally fuck up the games. Look at a la Dustborn and shit like that. Okay, that's actually a problem. Okay, so you have all of these problems going in at the same time. Okay, and right now, you got the people right now are just talking about the woke shit. They're talking about surface level shit. Okay, a lot of these people, and I think that's where Disparity, kind of attacks. You have people that are hitting right now, people are seeing the surface level. People are like, well, why is this character ugly? Why is this, that, and the third? And that's all they're stuck on. When people like myself, Disparity, we've seen this shit for longer, and we're like, yo, this shit it's deeper than that, but that is a problem.
It's an issue where let me just say this. That is what gets me, because I'm aware of the nuance in it. I let Disparity speak. Like, here's the thing. I don't like it when I see like a person, like, okay, it's probably been my perspective with Disparity. Like, I'm like, because I see him make takes that I see out of people either farming for reactions or he gets his jollies off, and I'm just like, you're engaging in a negative thing.
Okay, so can you name a take that I made?
Yeah, your avowed take is a fucking atrocious.
What's my take on avowed? That it was
I've lost count on how many bad takes you've had.
So
what specifically the avowed take are we looking
What did you rate avowed?
I rated avowed, I think at 7.5 or an 8. Let me actually I did, like I said, when I beat a game, I bookmarked it because I like conversation like.
This is what you did, and you also
I gave it a 7.5. So gameplay is awesome, swordplay and magic skills is great, story was decent, optimizations was okay, not too bad. 7.5, we're done. That's it. That's it.
But it's fine. Gaming takes are weird. Like, I would not have been caught dead playing Velgar.
This is that right here. And here's the thing. Yes, with every game that I play and beat, yes, I do rate them. Because you know why? The game is not a lot of games. They're not bad games. There's a way that we can, as gamers, if you have grievances, you've got to find better fucking ways to give out your grievances.
Okay, how would you define?
Let him finish.
You got to give out some criticism, some actual criticism. Like say Avowed, like a lot of people hated Avowed because it wasn't a fucking like Morrowind or Oblivion. But the game states that you're a fucking envoy for a goddamn empire. So this is why I fucking goddamn tell y'all niggas don't play shit. Because you know why? Mm-hmm. If y'all played the Pillars of Eternity series, you'll know what fucking Avowed is about. This is like how people get called fucking terrorists. Because you know why? Y'all sit there, y'all bitch and moan. Y'all don't play this fucking shit. Play Pillars of Eternity 1. Play Pillars of Eternity. No, matter of fact, Avowed wasn't even made for y'all bitches. Matter of fact, Avowed was made for people who actually enjoy Obsidian-based games like that with the story. That's what it was made for. If you would pay attention to the story, that's why these games are made for lore. That's why I love. If you like Oblivion, if you like Morrowind, if you like those games are made for lore. Both Bethesda and Obsidian, they both have different styles of gameplay. And I don't know why dumbass people cannot get that through their fucking head. Yes, you can't kill a person in a vow because once again, you are a envoy to a gigantic empire who is trying to conquer land or whatever. But you have to make the first impression first before you can get these fucking useless people, to be on your side to make it easier. But instead, y'all just want to go there and murder everybody because why? Because you want to fuck a bear in that game too? God damn! Like, let's see how stupid it is. You see how dumb it is?
That is fucking crazy.
Okay. Have you never seen the first?
Also, you brought up Dragon Age Felgar. I gave the game a what do you call? Let me go back to my tweet. Let me go back to my tweet again. Let me go back to my bookmarks again. I gave that game. I think I gave it a 7 out of 10. You know why? So the gameplay was 9 out of 10. The story was a 6. Other than that, there's only 3 campaigns I enjoyed that game, and that or 2 or 3 campaigns I actually enjoyed. Other than that, will I probably do another playthrough? Maybe not. But at the end of the day, it was okay. It was okay. And keep this in mind. Dragon Age has basically been a mid-series after the first game. I'm gonna say Tom blew to the fucking face. Dragon Age 2 to me was an okay, decent game for the simple fact that it had the same goddamn ABC dungeons in every fucking dungeon. Dragon Age fucking Inquisition was also to me a garbage ass game because I hate the fucking single player MMO bullshit. I only played that shit for the story. So y'all need to leave that shit alone. That shit is a terrible argument, my nigga. God damn. These arguments are garbage.
But people enjoy. Objectively speaking, people enjoyed probably Inquisition more than fucking Veilguard. But like I said, I was turned off by Veilguard personally. I was like, I'm good. And matter of fact, I made that, and I think we talked about. Did we talk about that or
and I'm proud of you for that because you made the decision. You said fuck it, and guess what? You moved the fucking along. A lot of these bitches, they don't move the fucking along. They just sit there want to bitch, want to complain. I saw, you know what? They had the whole pronoun bullshit in that game or whatever. Sure, but you know what though? For niggas that actually played that game, let me tell you something. They gave me a choice. You can either A, ignore that shit and move the fuck along. B, say, hey, bitch, you're a fucking woman. Get over it, bitch. You can literally say that.
See, but then also too, I think it also.
But they also sanitized it too. They sanitized it too. I will
that too, because what happened also too is because that they also try to make it part of the story, which were a lot of people. That's what a lot of people were pissed off about. Because a lot of times, like it was like literally forced into the story. I think the pulling the bar shit was the biggest one because I did see some clips on it. That's what turned me off, and I was like, oh no, like trying to pull the whole.
Also, I see that in chat that you said on download. I played. Sorry, sir. Take that back. Don't put words in my mouth, sir. No.
Yes, you fucking did.
Sorry, that's my LG. I think I'm done with the conversation now because he's putting words in my mouth.
And what did you? Whoa!
He posted in chat, and on the download, I at least played 2 playthroughs of Veilguard. No, either you take the back or leave the call.
Okay, I'll take it back. How many playthroughs did you do?
I did 1 playthrough.
Yeah, but I say he only did 1. Like, what are you talking about?
Okay, I'll take it back then.
Don't you ever fucking do that.
Yeah,
I'm right here.
What?
I'm right here.
Okay, I'm chilling. I'm like, what? I'm over here looking at the wrong chat. Okay, what chat?
How many playthroughs of Stalker have you done?
Stalker,
how long did it take you to do Stalker?
Stalker, sir, I'm still on my first playthrough at 93.3 hours, and I'm actually towards the end of the game. And also, if you want to watch, I currently have a Let's Play on my channel right now. If you want to watch it, which has currently about 30 parts, the extra 5 parts you can pay for it if you want to watch it. You want to get that deep, but you can keep going. Ask me another question. How many hours?
Okay, do you know why we have an issue with Veilguard?
I mean, no, I don't care about Veilguard. You have
do you know why a lot of people's actual games? Do you know why a lot of people have issues with? Do you know why people have a lot of issues with like Avowed or Veilguard?
Well, wait, he just said, but all that's null and void because see that, like I said, that he just said, okay, T-Man, this is where I'm gonna kick back right quick. Okay, he clearly just said he plays it. One, he plays the games from his own perspective, right? And he showed evidence of that. Okay, just because he gave personally, Veilguard a higher score, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean, you know what I'm saying? That's his opinion. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what it is. So he and he's also doing, like I said, he's showing it because he's actually showing that, hey, look, I played the game. That's what I'm saying. Like, so you got to kind of like I wouldn't say zoom out, but zoom into the fact that it's a little bit more. He's doing this on his own. This is his own accord. This is nothing that the woke or whatever woke idiots or that we've dealt with or whatever. So that's the disconnect right there. You know what I'm saying?
I'm also playing Ghost of Tsushima right now.
I'm going to ask you that. Okay,
go ahead.
Here's my issue, and this guy goes back. A lot of times when I've either dealt with you or I see your opinions, I see them echoed from the leftist and the leftoids and the wokest on Twitter or YouTube.
But that goes back to what I'm saying, that's not him.
If that's not him, so if you don't understand it,
because
here's the thing,
but you have to ask him. That's why like I get what you're saying, but you got to like, if you don't understand something, that's why I've been telling you this. You have to go to the
listened to his thing the other day.
And also, Theo, I agree with you. Yes, game engines are ass. And that's another thing I hop on to all the time. You guys, LG. I hop on that shit 24/7. Game engines, this Unreal 5 engine is atrocious. It needs to be eradicated from this goddamn planet. But we
actually need to take more time to work on it because it's the same thing with Unreal Engine 4. Because a lot of the biggest problem, in my personal opinion, is that a lot of people jumped from 4 to 5 too quick. 5 is fairly new in comparison to 4. You should be, in my personal opinion, you should be squeezing every drop out of Unreal Engine 4. At this point, right now, developers should be using the hell out of Unreal Engine 4 until maybe about another year or two, until things really, unless there's some really, things that are really quicker in 5. But even then, it still needs to be, figured out, because like I said, right now with Unreal Engine 5, if your shit ain't up to snuff, if and a lot of computers aren't up to snuff right now.
Yeah, because a lot of broke niggas need to go ahead and upgrade. It could be
no, it's not about okay.
You don't, and that's the thing about PC. You really don't necessarily need. In certain cases, you really don't. If you really think about it, you really don't need to upgrade, bro. Like because when I upgraded my PC, it was because I literally had no choice. Because I think before my first build, right? We're kind of going on to a tangent, but it kind of just makes sense here. But it makes sense though, because I had like the 1050 that was when I didn't know, like I thought I could save some motherfucking money on the graphics card because it was fucking expensive at the time. But it was because I didn't understand, like, okay, well, I think I was at AM3, I think, with the memory and shit. So I had to upgrade. And if I wanted to get a new build, I had to upgrade. It was, you know what I'm saying? That this is kind of the same situation here. So if I do upgrade this PC now, I would have to go AM5 as far as memory goes. You know what I'm saying? And really, I can keep my 3070 Ti, and let's knock on wood, something happens to it. You get what I'm saying? So I can literally keep my 3070 Ti, and it can still do its job.
Yeah, you know the only reason when you should upgrade is when you can't get what do you call it? Get what you need, like in terms of performance. But yeah, it's
a rendering. The real problem with Unreal 5, it's kind of like, NVIDIA was unchallenged as a prime example for the longest time. They promote having the reason why AMD cards, which to this day I still trust very few, it's like taking them a long time. Like I will do an AMD CPU and an NVIDIA graphics card, which really you're supposed to be using because it's a rendering problem. The problem with like Unreal 5, like Unreal 4, people were able to like work with it. It was a free, and Unreal 5 is the same way. I have said this about Unreal 5. Unreal 5 can make incredible environments, but when it comes to designing like people, characters, it is an atrocious engine unless you know how to fiddle with it, because it is an easy learning tool. I'm sure Disparity would agree with this perspective, but it is also the most unoptimized because the thing was with Avowed. Avowed was on my wish list until I saw it was a tech nightmare. The dev team came out and said 2 months before launch, and was or right before launch, we're gonna have brokenness. There's gonna be this issue, and it's running at bad frames, and the developers asked to go, so game's not optimized at all? Yeah, we'll fix it later, kick it down the road. And I'm just
and I agree. You don't, if it does not up to you, you don't have to buy it. Now, if you do want to buy it, wait for it to go on sale for about, 50% off, then have at it at that point.
And then you can take into the attitude in the game where it wasn't the pronouns that hurt the people, because that's an easy thing to utterly ignore. Expedition 33, which I'm playing right now, because I'm in the end game, and I have to. Actually, I had to change my entire build, and they don't teach you about lumens, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's stuff in this tutorial which I wish were here. That's why I messaged you earlier about make sure you upgrade your lumens. You'll see next time I stream this. Yeah. And TM goes, you
I got
play these. You're fine. But look at this. I'll say this from this perspective, and it's nothing against you, Disparity. It's just, it maybe is one of the biggest misunderstandings, because I was still jaded on how, look, problem solving and that, it's a culmination of issues. Mm-hmm. You're fire up a Twitter space. And then there's other times when I either heard about that from shitsters, and I know K-Banes isn't serious. But when some of the people you hang out with, Riddler goes, well, you just example woke and culture warrior. That shit pisses me off. Yeah, but you can look at the games I play, and when you said live services are trash. See, I play live service games majority now. I've played Division 2. Division 1 since launch. Your top gameplay last year was Marvel Rivals. That's what I'm did you just say that? Just understand.
But the majority of live service games are actually trash. I will say that.
I agree.
There's very few that are actually good. League of Legends is now a live service game. Marvel Rivals is a live service game.
Most stuff's been live service because.
But here's a difference with Marvel Rivals though. The Marvel Rivals, they actually do good by the consumers by giving all these characters free. Now it's I will say this: they do 75% good. The other 25% is kind of bad, but even then, it's still one of the better ones.
Yeah, but when you're talking if a game is, you should be smart enough as a gamer to understand single-player games were not on people's radars for the longest time because the corporate model was to have a live service game. That's the problem with the industry. The industry trends. Do you remember when everything was a battle royale, Disparity? Do you remember everything had to be a Left 4 Dead clone?
Yeah, everything had to be a League of Legends clone too, yeah.
Everything had to be a League clone. Dota. People forget Dota inspired League and Smite.
Yeah.
And Dota came from a mod, I think it was for Warcraft 3.
Yes.
Or StarCraft 2.
Yes, Defense of the Ancients, yes.
Literally. That's how far back I remember, and I remember gaming trends. And it's fine if people want to play Forspoken, Dustborn, and all of that. But YouTube content creators, I do not like it.
The only thing hold on one second. The only thing I'm going to say about Forspoken is that Forspoken wasn't woke. Forspoken just had terrible fucking writing.
Oh, it's the writing.
Bad writing does not make it woke. Bad writing is just bad. I think we got to start bringing that back. Bad writing is just bad writing.
I felt that was an awkward game. No, let me say this. Forspoken to me looked like an interesting game because I want to know about the development of that game because I'm assuming it was Japanese people. Okay, do you remember? Yes. Okay, Despair, do you remember the interview? Not trying to track down the internet. Let me say this.
Well, to answer your question, your thing, by the way, is that yes, it was created by a Japanese studio. If I recall correct from a conversation that I had, that I actually had to learn this myself. It was made by by the lead who basically does terrible job at creating stories. He can create the world and shit like that, but he does a terrible job at creating stories. So yes, and when it comes to Square Enix, as you know, Square Enix has like what 3 or 4 development teams.
Probably.
I don't remember exactly, right? And they kind of cycle through them, right? That dude who developed Forspoken is garbage at writing, dead ass serious.
But there's a thing to it as well, like it's like when somebody asked about development of games, and this is the weird thing. You want to know where they went wrong, because I looked at the art and I'm like, this is Japanese. So, okay, do you remember the famous interview that is one of the most hardest things to track down? And I'm going to ask TM06 about this after we get done here. But you got to understand, when Akira Toriyama in that interview that everyone quoted from the lead of Shonen Jump was like, there was a cult of wokeness in the left, basically, and we're either designing games for them and it's bending design. I noticed this in the anime and the manga industry for the longest time. This is where, let's say you're assuming marketing something versus a niche. I've always liked certain Asian style products better than West because there's more care and attention to it. But when they start to go to the mass marketing, it's weird. But like with Forspoken as an example, the dialogue is cringe. I would be lying if I'm playing like a game like Expedition 33 that doesn't have certain cringe dialogue in moments.
Yeah, that's what I brought up. Yes, the writing.
There is certain lines.
Writing. Yes,
there is certain lines, and it's not that the DEI stuff is like, oh, you have to shove it in there. Like South of Midnight has cringe, like a lot of cringe in it too. But it's like, it's not that can the lead dev code, can they design? Like Forspoken, all in all, looks like the only reason it kind of like, okay, what was your opinion of Flintlock Siege at Dawn?
Never played it, didn't care for it. I've never talked about
Flintlock Siege at Dawn was on my to play list. And it was done later on. They had delayed it twice, and it was very similar gameplay to Forspoken. But that's on for me to get on sale later on. It's like 3-button combos and things. But I'm like, okay, that's something you do. It's like a developer, and you're changing it. And the thing is, I don't have an issue with like how opinions are, because gamers are always going to have different opinions on series. Like, okay, are you going to play? Like, I ask you this. Like, when you put a list of games out, do you add them to your pool, to your current projects, or do you, phrase it twice, your list of games, like you said, you were going to play Outlaws, you're going to play this, you're going to play this.
Yes, I beat those.
You're like, you did that, right? But you're like, I'm going to play through this and this.
Yes.
Like, and then you add them. Like, I cleared my entire schedule, the prime example, to play Expedition 33. I cleared it to play KCD2. You can look at my channel on that. I have 275 hours in KCD2 because I'm trying to do the completionist run.
Yeah, you know, Kingdom Come Deliverance. I bought it. I still have yet to play it. It's on my list. Like I said, I don't.
Yeah, it's a long game.
When it comes to games in general, yes, I have like a 5 to 10 game list that I cycle out. Right now, I'm currently playing a game like you said, Tempest Rising, Stalker 2, South of Midnight, Expedition 33. I have 2 hours in that game. I'm basically, I'm balancing out all these games that I'm currently playing, like anybody else. Hell, I still got to play Romancing Saga 2, which I bought a while back. So yes, I'm not. When I buy these games, look, I want to keep it a buck. If I buy like Expedition 33, I bought that for $35. You know what? I bought it for $35. Cool, but I might put a little bit focus on it here. Might not. But you know what though? It's not going to be the main focus. I'm trying to finish these other projects first. These other games first. I'm not gonna call them projects. I got to, because it's called creating a balance. Like you always bring up playing Frostpunk. Frostpunk is a great game. Don't get me wrong. It's one of those games that I can always go back to. I want to focus on these games that are just coming out right now. I mean, it's really any game, but it's a game that can keep my attention. Like Oblivion.
I appreciate you answering this.
The Oblivion.
This is one of my big issue. This is actually one of those things when I asked, because initially, not that rubbed me the wrong way. I never got an answer on it. This is why this is a lot of the issues between you and I have been a culmination. Like, I'm like, didn't you say you were going to play Frostpunk 2? And I played Frostpunk 2. Like, I think we're still waiting on the DLC apparently, and they just announced they're doing another game, 1866.
Yeah, I saw that.
Well, 1886. Sorry. So apparently it's a prequel game, and I thought we were supposed to get a DLC. But bear in mind, Frostpunk 2, and they're not the same ones. They do like weird games like Indica. But that was a niche game going into the summer. Like, but
Okay.
what I do as a creator, though, or not as creator, just as a gamer in general, I do have the games I have in set rotations. Division 2 that I need to catch up on, I just let the season build up because it's just tasked. Diablo 4, I'm waiting to the next. Fallout 76. Then I do have my various gacha games. But I'd be the first to not admit it's weird because I play ZZZ, HI3, Genshin, and I think I play HSR. But
all right, quick question before I leave. I gotta go.
No.
Do you have any other questions for me?
Okay, do you think just because I play those in rotation or I have those, because you said live service gamers are trash, they can't have opinions, because I don't play season, like, I could list off single player games I've played over the years.
I'll keep it like this. Live service games, yes, they are trash, but if you enjoy them, that's what you enjoy. Yeah. That's on you. I'm not going to knock you for enjoying something, but in my personal opinion, because it is my strong opinion, are live service games trash? Okay, yes, I will say that till I'm blue to a face. I'm sorry, let me rephrase it. Certain live service games are trash.
A lot of the ones that are not, that haven't made the
is time. And the other thing you got to realize, time. Not everybody has the time, and you have to admit this to yourself. Because like when I first met you, you were doing Warhammer stuff. I'm like, and I know Total War is like Crusader Kings and all that. That takes time. KCD2 is point as I made. I liked the first game and the second game. The second game I'm at nearly 300 hours. I had to walk back 12 plus hours to get to the point I'm at. And I'm having to make sure I get to the point I can get to all the endings without screwing it up. My Baldur's Gate 3 sits at like 400 hours. And I just need to finish the last part. But I burnt out on it because not everybody has the time to complete games. Now, and I'm pretty much assuming Expedition 33, I don't know how far it is, because a lot of stuff we're finding, like some of us are taking longer because I want to say it's a 60-hour game. I didn't think I thought it might have been a 30 to 40-hour game.
Game that says about 30, 35 hours.
I think that's if you play through until you have to respec yourself and you have to go kill everything for the... Oh, God. There is something on Expedition 33 they don't tell you, and I wish there were guides, because I wish I have to look up so much.
Last thing is, before I did, though, again, I have no issue with you. I'm glad that we can have this conversation. If you have any grievances, I'm right here. You know,
you're fine, but don't call me. Do I sound like a culture warrior person?
The only reason why I call certain people culture war person is because it's the way how you present yourself or whatnot. Because a lot of this shit, because when I ask people this, I ask people like, why do y'all care so much? And the reason why I ask this stuff, right? Depending on how, I don't care what your political spectrum.
Yeah.
I ask people, why do y'all care so much? If y'all care, complaining and bitching on the internet is not the way to do it. What you need to do, if people care so much about this, is get our fat asses up out of mom's basement or wherever you live at, and go out there and take some action. That's how you change shit. Sitting on here on Twitter, complaining on Twitter and YouTube for 4 to 5 hours, that's not going to do it unless you want to. But you know, people do it because you know what? It's because they're slave to the algorithm. Whatever algorithm that you're slave to, whether it's YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, whatever algorithm, because you know what? It's going to bring them in some money. These people, honestly, that's actually one of the other major reasons why I left it, because yes, we can have these conversations, bring in the normal casual normal person. You know, maybe they might be converted to think or whatever, right? But sure, a lot of this shit though, it just goes back into tribalism. Tribalism, you know, a lot of people are losing that self-thought. They don't think for themselves anymore. They think about what does this content creator say? What does that content creator say? I'm gonna follow this. A lot of people, there are a lot more sheep in the world than there are leaders right now. That's actually why I left. That's literally why I left this whole culture war shit. Because I'm like, y'all aren't going to do nothing. Y'all aren't really serious about it. If you're serious, you get off the computer, go to your local government office, make some changes in the world. Go help your fellow neighbor down the street. Do the good Christian thing or whatever people like to talk about. But no one don't want to do that because it's easier to goof people online than to actually do shit in IRL. It's that easy.
I'm gonna go back to what and we've talked about this before we've had this point of contention before. And we talked about this before, so you already know what we're gonna say. What I'm gonna say about this. I say it's a mixture of both, and I say I'm glad now that there are a lot of people talking about it in general. I'm glad that because that's what folks wanted. The original folks wanted was to folks to just shut up and just take the slop, drink the Kool-Aid, take the games, and without having an opinion. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that social media is giving everybody a platform. I'm glad that some people are using it, whether it's for bad or for worse. That's people's opinion, right? But I'm overall glad that people are out there. That this is a stepping stone. You know what I'm saying? This is a part of what needs to happen, because if you're not having these conversations, if people aren't understanding what's going on in general.
All right, I'm ready out.
Yeah, you have that up. Yeah, because I gotta get, because I got work in a minute too myself. But if people aren't having the conversation, this is what's going to happen. You're going to have the death of your communities. You know what I'm saying? Like you talked about earlier. And I really wish y'all, like teammate, like you and the Spirit, you just need to sit down and just, just piece it at a time. Don't jump right into it. Don't jump, be too quick to assume one thing or the other. Just have the conversation. And that's what I've been telling you. I've been telling you in general. Just have the fucking conversation.
I would rather have the conversation than have an argument, because I've been the proponent he's been trying to talk to. Trust me, I have been trying to get Renowned to talk to him. I'm like, just talk.
If they don't want, like I said, and that goes either way. If they decide not to have the conversation, unfortunately, there's nothing that we can do. There's nothing that we can do.
And then there's the weird stuff I saw, like when he did with the stuff with OJ and stuff. He didn't realize he was feeding the people who hated Renowned.
That's the thing. They don't know, and some people that, once again, it goes back into the tribalism shit. Some of those people that they don't know and they don't care. There's people that right now that hate. Like I said, I sit up here. I got fucking Lombardzi's stupid ass literally over here following me and trying to comment on everything. Comment on other shit that I do. Like I don't like, bro. What do I have to do? Like I don't care if you don't like the reverse. I don't care, my nigga. Okay. Leave me the fuck alone before I tell you about yourself, and you're not gonna like what I'm gonna tell you.
You're right. You and the thing is about gaming, I would like to have a gaming discussion, because it's not that I think it is. I do think he has hot takes. Gamers have a lot of hot takes. What kind of irritates me is without proper nuance, my blind spot is sometimes I'm too quick to jump the gun. That is one of my blind spots. And the issue itself is I'm not a stupid person. I'm not really biased. You know that about me. Right. I just hate it every single time people are like, you're a culture war. It's like, I'll be the fucking first.
Yeah.
How many times have I said anyone who endorses JDA or John F. Trent is a retard?
Yeah. And there's some people there's some people that just don't know better. There's some people that just make it. You also, like I said, you got to keep in mind that there's some people that may see certain people and just, I like this tweet based off of what it says. You know what I'm saying? And they don't know the lore behind said person. And that's the thing about social media. Some people, they don't know further. They can't see past their nose on shit. You know what I'm saying? Or some people, they don't care to. You know what I'm saying? And that's like the same thing with Theo, the same thing with, with myself, anybody. You know what I'm saying? They'll hear something, and it's also vice versa. People will hear something from somebody else. You know what I'm saying? How many idiots will sit up here and try to come to my channel, try to call me Homeless Larry when
Tony started that, and we deal with the after effects.
Yeah, we deal with the after effects because all they know is what other people say. And sometimes, yes, you do gotta like nip certain shit in the bud. But at some point, there are some people that just they don't know. They're so locked in on one person's perspective that they won't ever look outside, because that's what people are like. A lot of people, like, a person can be smart, and I've said this before. A person can be smart, but people are stupid in general. Okay, if a person can be smart, but if you get them in a group of people and then somebody else fire, they're gonna act stupid as fuck, and they're gonna sit up here and start running around.
In their sheep, it's
you know what I'm saying?
Sheep mentality. It's
not everybody has that. It's not everybody has a sheep mentality. You got to know how to separate my thing is you got to know how to separate the wheat from the tariff. Wheat from the taff.
You got to basically the weed from the chaff, because the concept is, from what do I seem like with Riddler, it's like I have no issues with him. He's like, well, we're done. I'm like, Riddler sounds to me like Cornel West.
Okay.
That's a name. Riddler, go look it up. That's who you strike me as. And it's not a bad thing.
But you have to, and like I told you, with Riddler, like I said, like I told you earlier, right? Just because me and Riddler may be cool with disparity, or you know what I'm saying, or somebody else, it doesn't mean we're covering for them. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean.
And I understand that. Like,
you know what I'm saying?
You know how many times I get accused of ball washing for both of you, before both of you in renown.
Right, exactly. And we don't even know what's
me up the wall.
Right, and the crazy part about it is I don't even know what's fucking going on half the time. I'm over here doing my shit. I'm over here counting. You know, I got money to count. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm literally counting money so I can put it in the bank on Monday when you know what I'm saying, from work. Matter of fact, I work tonight, so I'm over here chilling. I might be playing a game. I might be working on my other projects. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm not looking at, I'm not necessarily looking at what these people are saying, because I already know most of these people don't give two shits. The same people that sit up here and the people that accuse you of trying to quote unquote ball wash for me or whatever, for example, most of them they're the ones. It's basically a projection. Them niggas over here ball washing for the same people that they always up under other people.
For the most part,
that's the thing. You've seen it.
They don't realize.
Like they're telling it, like me and you, like the last time you was on my stream, you sitting there playing. I was playing Expedition 33. You was sitting there. We wasn't even talking about none of the other shit. No. Really, we was just sitting there talking about the damn game.
And that's why I try to give you tips, because look, they don't explain to you half the systems, and I wish they did, because I'm having to redo like my Luminas.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I swear, like, how half the people in this game, but it also has that borderline jankiness where they don't explain the Luminas, and none of the tip sites, nor any of the developers that they gave the game to, have put out the various locations and the how to actually min-max a character. I just got to a boss that kicked my ass because about a fourth of the way through the game, about a third, the game forces you to get good. They don't tell you, get good or get fucked.
Yeah. Well, the min-maxing part, right? Like the min-maxing part, that's actually a personal thing. Like it that's not something that, like, I've noticed that a lot with a lot of games. That's something that's going to take. Well, one, like I said, the game just came out, so you gotta keep that in mind. It's going to give people time to, like, give it maybe about a month or so. You're gonna have people, basically pretty much optimizing the quote unquote fun out of the game. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
Oh yeah, no, you have to search, like in Expedition 33. You have to search for, like, the game doesn't explain to you about Luminas, and a lot of the people they gave the game to it early, I don't think did. It's like Hypnotic played like to where he was without doing the Luminas. The Lumina points, and I would go look up what are Lumina points for. And I'm not expecting it. I'm like, clearly, like, Fidextra Life is a good example of this. Every game they're given, they have guides for. But to find all the Luminas or find the Pictos, which when you do in your Luminas, as an example, and I was going to explain this to you in your stream, but now that you're going to get this, the Luminas apply an effect, but they cost Lumina points.
Right.
Basically, it's a modifier. And I'm like, this is the shit I've been missing. And I'm all the way to old Lumina. And I have to go kill, like, some of the larger. And I'm like, and I figured out why certain stuff is harder. They don't tell you that. And I'm like, but I'm fine. Like, with the game. And one of my biggest things is I'm not really pissed with disparity. I'm really pissed with it. The idea is, it's a perception thing. Like, he clarified it. But the problem is when, like, it's like when you look at a snapshot of a person and it doesn't explain it. And it just goes back to a generality because I've caught him and other people we know doing it. And it's one of my biggest roadblocks when I deal with people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, off the record, as much as I love Renown, Renown's a blockhead. Renown's like one of those people when I have it quiet, I'm like, why do you do this?
Yeah.
But I politically navigate. You've learned that.
Yeah.
My biggest problem is I'm just like, yes, my perspective is what I saw on Twitter. When he got involved in that post with Renown, I'm like, you just hate bot south of midnight to own the chuds or own Renown.
Right. No, he just when the reality is he bought it because he thought it was interesting for him.
That's a better reality to explain than the perception of how he played it out on Twitter. Like,
yeah.
One of his big things, like, and I'll let the secret out about Endymion. Endymion is a huge Assassin's Creed fan. He's an Assassin's Creed simp, if anything.
Okay.
He will play an Assassin's Creed game, even if it sucks.
Right.
Which I have a cringe at certain points. Like, I don't acknowledge a Dragon Age past 2.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Okay? Is that a fair argument?
Fair. Okay.
I don't know.
I can fuck with that. Okay.
You can fuck with that, right? Because
I
played all the Fallout. And it's not like against Elder Scrolls.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Elder Scrolls systems, I can kind of understand. But that's a game when I dive into it. Anyone can attest if you see me on Discord. I'm into a game like that for 300 plus hours. Watch me play like KCD2. Right. No normal game playthrough with like Fighting Cowboy or them. They're at 300 hours. Yeah. Like my Baldur's Gate playthrough, I think I burnt myself out on that. Like my save file is like 212, 250, like 430, something like that. But my play hours are over 1.5 times that.
Right. No, fair enough. Fair enough.
That's
that goes back to what I was telling you. This is what I was telling you, bro. Like you gotta readjust your perspective because the reason why this blew up the way it did, and before that, Theo said he was trying to get in, but so my thing is just like I said, and since Renown's in here, I will tell you this, Renown. I did tell y'all need to sit down and have the discussion. I don't care if y'all do, yell for a bit, like I said, like I did here. I don't care. Like I said, y'all need to get the emotions out the way. Let's sit down and talk about it because honestly, that's part of the problem right now. Everybody's in this whole, well, I think this, I think that, therefore this. And it's like, that's not always fucking true. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, the people that we talk to, me and you, Renown, that we've seen, I've tried to talk to. I tried to talk with Frog Tony. That dude literally makes it. That's literally what his shit is. Okay, his shit is literally that. Okay, literally sitting up here trying to talk shit about people.
If he can't create, let me give you a hint. If he can't create drama, he has no drama to farm. He creates it. He literally goes to Twitter and makes a shitstorm.
Exactly. That's exactly what he is. And he's a
does it too.
He's a shit stirrer in the way. He's a shit stirrer in the negative way, right? There's people that will, stir the pot to get you to think and to get you to actually have a conversation. Like myself, I do that sometimes, and I'm willing to have the conversation with folks. However, I don't try to get people you notice when I say certain shit about certain people, it's based off of what I've seen of them and it's based off of truth, and they never denied it. Okay, when I called out fucking the moist back, as Renown calls him, for his stupid shit, he hasn't denied it. Matter of fact, he's doubled down on it. So guess what? That's what he is, and he's admitted that's what he is, and other people have also came across and admitted that's what he is. I don't care. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So now I can say that shit and be it, I can go about my day. Now I don't mind having to if I gotta adjust a few things or maybe things might not be true about certain people, I'll adjust as need be. But there are certain people, especially when we're dealing with the people that are have a hate boner for Eric July, and they keep trying to come at myself.
Have you seen half the shit they?
You know what I'm saying?
Comicsgate just moved the ball just to own Golden Patriot.
They tried to, which is fucking stupid.
Jesus. I was listening to AVS's stream last night. those people like EVS is like, well, they think if we make it fail, JDA and them are like, it's going to be, yeah, I'm just like, nah, I'm of the mind EVS and the people who follow him are just going to roll with it and move the goalposts further. That's like why I say hypocritical creators like that. And I'm like,
but this, in the case of Disparity and anybody
he
else,
may not be one, but EVS in all aspects I've seen is.
Exactly.
Because the way he conducts himself in private.
Yeah, and how he does himself in public.
I see smaller creators duplicate.
Let Theo in, by
that.
the way. Theo said he wants to be in, so let him in.
Okay.
If he's not in there, if he hasn't got a link yet.
Hold on, I have multiple windows up. Sorry, people who say I don't. Hold on. Theo, I don't know. Like, no, I wasn't like with TM. Like, TM's more than welcome to come talk to me, but like I said, just wait till afterwards.
Fair enough.
Like, that's what I said to TM.
Fair enough.
Wait till after, because that discussion with him is not going to be YouTube friendly.
Fair enough. Like I said, I honestly, I don't, like I said, the only, like, when it came down to that shit, I don't fuck, like, I was in that space when he said it, and I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, people like that, they think that they're better, they're different, they think that, you know, oh, well, I'm not, no, bro, please, I don't have time for that shit. Like, some people are looking for these companies, okay, that's them. I don't care. Like,
I don't look at, like, here's my thing, when I look at people, like, I'm fine. If you want to fall for the Switch, by the way, Theo sit there. Like, but he didn't want, but he did not want to stick around to have that conversation afterwards without his buddy Disparity there. I'm just like, no. He can stick around because the thing about it is, like, look, I have problematic people around me too. Like, my non-gaming people that I deal with in communities are totally different. Like, there's things I don't darken them with. Like, I don't bring people into a lot of my online space for the reason of I barely mention a half of a line and they're like, what the fuck? Because I had to explain publicly that a person online went to my area by the name of Chris Bacon, went over there and did this. And they're like, what? And the cops that sure look stupid, they were like, WTF. No, this is not a space for the normal people.
Right.
Like, this is, you either have to have some sort of dysfunction or you have to have the world's thickest hide. Now, like as I said, LG, if you plug yourself or so, because it's not like I have nothing against Disparity.
No.
His process, I wish he explained this process when I was dealing with him.
Yeah.
I think you have to not.
Well, then that's because y'all was already kind of like going at it. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to tell you. Y'all was already that you kind of jumped in with the whole PTSD thing. And you kind of like jumped in and assumed shit.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
The thing is,
y'all both so when you start going it, when you start assuming things one way, and then you know what I'm saying, like you get what I'm coming at from it. So when you start attacking people a certain way, people are gonna or hit something a certain way. Does that make sense? So what I'm trying to tell people, like what I'm trying to tell you, you know what I'm saying, like you could have kind of like y'all had the opportunity to talk. That's why I kind of blew up now, is because there was nothing really happening. You're going off of certain, what's the word? Certain preconceived notions at early. You know what I'm saying? You got to kind of like know when to say, okay, I have this preconceived notion, but you don't necessarily want to act on it just yet. You got to know how to finesse certain things. That's why I could talk to different types of people and kind of be like, cool with folks, respectfully, and then be like, all right, let me ease up. Okay, I have this preconceived notion, but I'm not going to tell you yet because or I might say it in a jokingly manner, or you be like, hey, I thought this and this about you. But okay, that notion was like, whittled out because, okay, I understand now because how people operate online may or may not be different than how they are in real life. So I get it. I get where you're coming from. You want that authenticity, But like I said, sometimes with that's got to be earned with certain people. You know what I'm saying? You can't just expect people to be authentic out the gate. Now, people can be transparent, sure. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, when I'm just throwing this out there, like with Eric July, you know, Disparity was also transparent in the fact of like, okay, hey, I play these games for my own reasons. This is what I do. I play these types of games. I bought like, so that's why it explains why he bought Avowed, Veilguard, and
that's a
other games
gaming choice,
basically. You know what I'm saying? That because that gaming choice aligns with what he already plays. You get what I'm saying? So in that case, he's like, hey, this is already aligned with what I'm playing with. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be more in tune to get these games. You know what I'm saying? So like versus somebody like me, if I just hopped on Veilguard, which I'm not, I don't like the game. I've seen it and I didn't like it.
I
I'm
just
like,
don't
I'm
like
not gonna get it.
creating. I think as I tried to explain to Riddler, I don't like. I hate buying a game and having a backlog as much as I feel like, because I disagree with Renowned's take on having Game Pass to play it. I'll actively buy, like, I would rather buy a game because either A, I'm going to forget to unpay for the Game Pass, or it's just, I don't want to buy a game that I'm not going to play or enjoy. Like, I gave shit to my friend over Baldur's Gate 3 that made me buy it, but I actually kind of low-key enjoy it, but I low-key struggling in games like that, so...
No, and that's fine. So, like, at the end of the day, like, it really does depend on... It really does depend on the person. Like, you got to know how to separate the... It's like separating the art from the artist type shit. The
Theater
same...
from the bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. You got to know how to do that. And understanding that there are some people that do, you know, hang with certain people, like, you know, they've been hanging with them for years, like I said, in Disparity, like in Disparity's Discord, right? There are people that they don't really care about that stuff. Like, yeah, they want to hang with Disparity, they just want to have a good time. You know what I'm saying? You know, so when somebody comes in like yourself that's thinking a certain type of way, and it doesn't necessarily, it may not mesh I can't talk right now, may not mesh well with that. So then they're gonna kind of like, you know, say, oh well, this Tiamat dude's weird, this dragon dude's weird type shit. I don't know how to feel about this type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So that, like, you got to understand, like, when you're in that space, in that environment, it's a little bit different. Like, you got to kind of ease people into that shit. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just hopping in and you know, and that's what kind of I think that's what kind of caused.
I got hit
situation
with the culture war shit from them early on. And
yeah,
I'm like,
because you kept bringing that shit up in the Discord when that's not may not be their thing. They're in there to chill out with Disparity. They know some of them, like I said earlier, some of them know Disparity when he had his other channel. You know, that's why you might, like, you heard a couple of them maybe call him Spacey. And I'm like, you know, matter of fact, that's why, like, when I did the NBA 2K thing, that was when I put Spacey in the NBA 2K team, I named him Spacey Disparity because
that makes sense.
of reference because of his older, both of his names. Because I know him as Disparity. Other people knew him as Spacey, so I just put both in there just because. So you know what I'm saying? So that's the thing, you gotta kind of like understand and respect. You know what I'm saying? So like it is what it is. Like when you're coming into new communities, you just gotta kind of like chill out with certain stuff. You can't just always jump in.
TMO 6 isn't bad. Like, I listened to that space he did.
Mm-hmm.
He's 27 years old, right? He's as jaded as a...
He said 25.
He said 25 plus.
Yeah, he said correct. He said you were 2 years old. You gave him 2 years, so it's 25.
Okay, so you're 25. He's 25 years old. And I highly doubt... Like, I remember when he said, like, he fights with the console people online, yet he acts worse than them. And he barely graduated school. And I'm like, you're a black supremacist, my guy. Go literally fly your clan banner somewhere. Like, he didn't have a response when I asked him about flyover country.
Right, but okay, so let me shift. I'm sorry, my bad. I just happened to see this. Riddler says you're lying on the stream. People have you blocked because you always come into Disparities BC being negative about whatever new game is out. Or basically being cynical.
That's fine. I didn't like half those people. It was uncomfortable for me. Like anyone
But-
knows I
but
don't
that
do
goes
well
back-
in large spaces.
But
And
true, but
Riddler's
what I was
and Riddler won't take back what I say. In Riddler, literally, I asked you, what do you think of that process on a creator? Asking you from a creator perspective on Riddler's thing.
Yeah, but he didn't want.
And then
like,
he gets really pissed about that. Like I'm like,
But
no
he
one
got
can
pissed
answer. I'm like,
because
I go, if it perception, I go, if there's a perception,
it's
that
not about
disparity,
perception.
bro.
But you were in his stream that yesterday
And I mean,
while he was sitting there
I have
playing
nothing, like,
another
I have
game.
nothing
That's what I'm
against him.
saying.
I asked him, disparity clarified. I said, I'll DM disparity about that on my own time. And I gave it about a day or so. And like I did it. But then there's that whole thing. Because my process was I was going to DM him. Then he did the whole thing. And then that's when I DM that and I go, I'm going to fire up a stream. That he was invited in. No, yeah. To me.
And speaking of devil.
And to me, you know as well as anyone, I do not like, okay, play the games you want. I hate consumership. Well, enjoy what you enjoy, but I hate consumership. It is the death of a niche.
Right. So so here's a key question then. Maybe you'll help me understand that. So what's the line between the two? What's the difference between somebody getting a game because
casual
they're either,
versus a consumership?
Right. What's the difference between somebody that wants that's either A, interested, you know what I'm saying? They're either interested in the game via what they heard,
what they hear,
what they see versus what they seen, and versus somebody being a quote unquote consumer.
It's not a complicated thing. I think so consumers, right, are just people who either hate buy or they. Okay, so there's two types. Like in hobby spaces, like WotC with D&D and stuff, they go, okay, so you have normies in a space. They find something, like it's not niche. Like in D&D, right? When Critical Role started doing their stuff, it brought in a lot of people who weren't necessarily D&D people, but they're casuals who came in and they didn't understand there was a Critical Role was like their first exposure. You got that to understand. But then they go to actual DM groups and how actually people DM or GM, depending on how you say it, right? They go, why aren't you doing the Matt Mercer thing? Does that make sense?
Okay.
Like
Matt Mercer in reference to, what's the
Matt Mercer's also the person who does a lot of voice work, and he does Minsk and Boo and Baldur's Gate 3. So they're like, why aren't you DMing like that?
Okay.
Those people have negatively impacted a lot of sessions of D&D. Now, consumership is just when people constantly consume one slot product after another. Like Disney Star Wars is an example. I got turned off on one show. Like if I weren't reviewing this stuff I have a faint interest in the Carfire.
Okay.
I would not have talked about Acolyte with Multi.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay, I think I'll give you.
If I wasn't asked in pity to cover it, but I also dragged him into a film he didn't like as well, so it's give and take. Like,
which is
I stay away from, and then these people are the same people who go, you need to tolerate this. That becomes a standard. The more stuff you have, like just flat consumers who buy it, they never complete it.
It becomes a standard.
It becomes a standard.
Okay, I see what you're getting at. So but my thing is, let's double back here because I feel like I'm like the only voice of reason in this bitch right now.
Yes.
Jesus fucking Christ.
That does happen.
Let me make this clear, right? And this goes back to the personal shit because, like I said, Riddler made this clear earlier, and I do agree with Riddler on this. Okay, the reason why, like, when you went into Riddler stream, and because, like I said, I came in on the tail end of it, I didn't say anything because I was like, what the hell? I came in and I saw like a whole thread of just you talking to Riddler. Okay, at that point, Riddler was literally just gaming with his audience. Okay, he was sitting there playing.
It's that
he was playing Witcher 3. So, and when people are at that point, not every creator or not every person like me, I don't mind having a sidebar conversation about certain things, you know, especially mainly when it's within the game. Some people don't want to deal with that. When they're dealing with the game, they want to be focused on the game or maybe a topic that they already have pre-planned or whatever that they're going, you know, whatever. Or that they mainly want to focus on the game. Okay. So when you came in there with Riddler going back and forth talking, especially talking about another creator disparity, he's not covering for him. And like I told you earlier, once again, I'm repeating this because I want to make sure everybody understands this. I'm not covering for anybody specifically.
I know you're not.
But what I'm saying is just because I'm cool with disparity or Riddler's cool with him, it doesn't mean that we're going to automatically cover for him. So, but at the same time, you can't come in somebody else's stream and talk about, hey, well, your friend did this. Hey, get your boy, they did this, and expect people to be okay.
No, and that's a weird thing. What actually irritated me about what Riddler did is like, you have dead ass, like, I tolerate that.
And right. So like, that's why he was like his like, the way Riddler works, and he's sitting right here. He'll tell you, Riddler, if I'm wrong, if I'm wrong, stop me. If I'm wrong, correct me. Okay? And like I always say, if I'm lying, I'm flying.
It's the way he did it that it just triggered a response. I tried to apologize and go, "We're done." I'm like, "Oh yeah, fuck you. Go walk off a cliff too." That's
right. But you got to be careful with shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because he was already like you came in there, so you can't sit up here. This is what I tell people on social media all the time. You cannot fuck with people and then get mad when they respond to you a certain type of way. And it's like the fucking idiots. It's like the fucking idiots that try to bother me on fucking Twitter and fucking YouTube that try to, you know, talk shit about me because I like Eric July. But then they want to sit up here, they want to act shit, give me shit,
asking,
right? But then turn around and get mad.
They really think that's the trick. The problem is I have an issue traditionally when people, like, if he said on Twitter somewhere he bought South of Midnight to do whatever, every indicator, and I checked back threads for days.
But you didn't talk to, but what I'm saying is you didn't talk to
and I'm like, this is just rage baiting. And I'm like, he bought it to own the damn chuds. That is the worst marketing tactic, and he's not the only person I've seen doing that.
But like I said, once again, you're assuming you didn't talk to Disparity about that shit.
No, I didn't talk to him about it. I said on that stream, I messaged him, but he's like, that's one little Riddler. That may have just been
now as far as Riddler
for me. That was a weaker day for me where I slipped up and probably went into a little bit of a weird moment. That does happen.
Okay, and you got to, what you have to do when it comes.
And I tried to apologize. I'm like, okay, you're done. I'm done with you.
Right.
That's the easy thing. Go done, and you can go join. I'm like, you can go join the cult of disparity.
But it's
or
not
whatever. That's kind of what I said. Like, but I have never said he echoes.
But I'm not saying you're saying that. But what I'm trying to tell you is,
this is what irritates me about that, because a lot of this deal with 6 degrees of separation. But you have to understand. Right. I asked him to apply. No, LG, I'll post you. I asked him apply the same standards.
He does.
But then he goes, but explain yours. But I'm like, I have never said anything about Goonergate. I don't care what video game characters look like as long as they're aesthetically pleasing or they don't look like shit and the gameplay looks like that. Usually character design is important to me, but it's also if I have to play with a character that lasts for hours, but I don't go, very few people go like look up Rule 34 for characters.
But you did, like I said, according to this, right? So even really said it, okay? And this is where you kind of fucked up at. Telling somebody to tell somebody else what to do is it's kind of like that's the wrong thing to do, bro.
But that's where am I wrong to assume if I have to go off? Am I wrong to assume if I see someone's Twitter feed that looks like, and I have caught disparity doing the thing with Endymion, where Endymion was like he went in a whole tirade on Endymion. Where, like, oh, this is just a person platinuming a game that they hate. I'm like, you don't know about the creator you're talking about.
But he followed him. That's the thing. That's the point. So what I'm saying, Hold on. Theo said something here too. Said, "Get me out of backstage, team at." That's what Theo was talking about.
Yes.
Okay, but anywho, what I'm saying is,
your boy's here.
what's up, man? So
No.
what I'm
What's
saying,
good?
all I'm saying is, you have to know when to adjust shit, right? The problem right now is the reason why we're at where we're at right now, right? Is because right now you hit a lot of, you just jumped in assuming shit based on people's tweets.
Yeah,
That's
no,
the
and
point.
there's
The point
other
with social
thing.
media, the thing with social media. I'm not talking about Team 06. I'm not talking about him right now. Fuck that. Okay. What I'm saying is, what you have to do is you have to take the time at this point to know when to say, okay, look, bro, social
By the
media
way,
ain't real life.
let me say this, TM. I'll deal with you after because I wasn't expecting this to go an hour because I want to have a conversation with you off the damn record because I know you're not safe for YouTube.
Fair enough.
And the questions I want to ask you.
Okay, there we go.
The question I want to ask you is not YouTube friendly.
Fair enough.
And you
I'm gonna
swear
let y'all
too
have
damn much for YouTube.
and that's
All right,
and that's
hey,
your
can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly fine. You good.
Okay, I wanna remind you something. Now, mind you, I'm walking because I'm walking home from work. And fucking with y'all, man. I done fucked around. They missed my damn stop, so I gotta walk my black ass all the way down the street. Okay.
That sounds like a personal
God
problem. But
damn
anyway,
it.
you better keep your
Man,
eyes
I
up.
swear to God, bro. If I was Spider-Man, I'd throw some damn.
Go ahead,
I'd rub a damn refrigerator and say, "Hey, you can lose some weight."
You want to make a joke about black people being late?
Right, always the CP time is coming this week. But anyway, go ahead, Theo. Go ahead, Theo.
Okay, so Tim, Matt, you can't look, man.
I know.
From what I'm understanding about this, okay, you can't go into someone else's shit, man, and try to tell someone else, "Hey, tell him this," because remember, Straight Beans. You know how pissed off I was when Straight Beans tried to tell you in your own shit how to run shit. And he said, play the damn video or whatever the fuck y'all was doing at the time before I jumped in the chat afterwards, right? Just like I'm doing right now in the aftermath. And I looked at that motherfucker. I said, what the fuck is wrong with this boy? And I'm like, man, no. You don't tell someone to in their own shit, this, that, and the third.
Yep. Yeah, you don't have.
Yeah, you don't tell someone that.
Yeah. Now you can.
Yeah, you respect their house, man.
And I think that's what the spirit, like, that's where all this where this falls apart, is because you may have a disagreement with all of these people, but telling people one thing, especially Dark Riddler, because you know Dark Riddler don't play that shit, right?
No,
so that's why he hit you.
I find it weird. No, I don't care. He strikes me as the Cornell West type.
But that's fine.
All you gotta just.
That's fine, and I get that.
They are,
but at the same time,
core, they just don't realize it.
You know what? No, they may not be hypocritical. How do you know if you just But you can't sit up here and go into this is not new CG, bro. Okay, I understand we're used to dealing with the CG idiots. Okay, all three of us are dealing with those fucking idiots from fucking so-called Comicsgate that really they're calling themselves Comicsgate, but they ain't produce nothing but drama. Okay,
no,
but
the same people with my struggle predates. The problem is, like, the thing is, I've just seen enough of stuff over years with Cornell West and those type people. I'm just like, you're the same person who potentially suffers something another person does, because, like, with
let that be their choice, though. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't sit up here and try to dictate who people talk to. You're no better than fucking.
I've never said.
I have never said.
I have never said the thing when I brought up about Riddler and ethics. I've said,
but it's showing in your actions, bro.
But what I'm saying,
it's showing in your actions, and that's the problem right now.
I'm totally fine.
But you cannot. But what I'm telling you is, you got to adjust yourself, bro. When you're dealing with new people or other people, you cannot. You cannot. And I'm not. Like I said, I'm not coming from.
Because I know.
You can't argue ethics with people who don't want to have that discussion. Okay, arguing ethics with people that are not in that mindset to do it is not going to get you anywhere. I know what you're talking about, and I feel it. I understand that. But when you're going into Dark Riddler's stream, right? When you're going,
an issue when others don't check their people around them.
Bro, they don't need to.
They don't need to, man. They're their own peoples. If they know, if it's like us, right?
No, just don't have the standard.
How many times
people don't have the standard? Look, here's my biggest thing.
How many times people told you to check? How many times have people tried to tell you Okay, so let's make this real clear, right? And I see you disparity. I know Team L6 said he's gonna be wait. He said waiting. Okay, I got you. But here's the problem with this, right? How many times people has told you, right, about, and people try to do this to me too. They really don't do this to me as much because they know.
How many times people try to tell y'all about me?
Exactly. They don't do it to me because they know I don't give two fucks, and I tell them what I tell them.
No, I ignore all the CG. You know what I'm saying? I just.
But there are people that will tell you that, and you don't do it. So you cannot expect that same. It's the same thing, but it's a different coat of paint. You get what I'm saying?
No, the thing is, the triggering point recently has been a culmination of stuff, and then just seeing the South of Midnight interaction with disparity. That's what kind of I asked him on and off, like, why did you buy it?
Right, and he just told you why he bought it.
And I agree, if you like the game, but it looks weird in a social media thing where
he's not doing it for social media. He's already made it clear.
No, he's not.
He's not doing it for social media.
You know, I'm not going to bring this up.
Now, granted, he would.
TMO6, we have both caught saying he likes representations in games.
Okay.
Like, he in South of Midnight coverage was like, oh, they got black man hair waves, right? And I'm like, my eyes are chunking and rolling into the back of my head.
Sure. That's your opinion.
Well, that is, but that's because, but again, that I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Most games and even cartoons, they don't really get us right, man. They get y'all right. They get the Japanese right. Every other minority they get right. Us, on the other hand, we don't get right like that, man. We the literal definition, bro, of can't get right. That's how they are with us, man.
Okay, the quote unquote joke is the Killmonger haircut.
Right, exactly.
But no, that's what I'm saying. At least Bleach got Cool Madani right.
So here's the thing: Riddler said, just because it's not in front of you doesn't mean it hasn't happened. Because there's been times where Riddler hasn't talked. Like Riddler told me about some stuff, and we don't always talk. Like we haven't always talk in public about certain stuff. So just because it doesn't always happen, and that's what Riddler has is completely correct. Just because it's not in front of you, it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. I get that point. You know what I'm saying? So I need you to understand that too. But when you're coming into other people's streams and saying, "Oh, well, you need to get your boy about this, that, and the third."
I admit it. I said I was going to deal with
That's all we need
first.
Here's another example. And this just happened recently on my screen. Remember that guy I told you about, that Lee Biacco Priziano dude that you saw coming at me on Twitter and shit, the way he was acting, trying to say that I was emulating his tech and shit and Tekken, and that I put my whole template name based off of his, and I'm like, nigga, what are you talking about? You know? And when we finally got to the root of it, the bottom line was, because I got him in a Discord call, and you guys could see that on the stream when we played. The bottom line is he just wanted to run the beef set like Sikander. And I'm like, oh, so you want to play for the bragging rights, not just for the cheese? He's like, yeah, I just want to play you. Oh, okay. Well, nigga, that's all you had to say. And we played.
Don't most people in the FGC have the tagline DM for like one-on-one matches and shit?
Not always.
No. Because especially if you're a high-level pro player, some niggas in the pro player scene, they will, if they don't like the fact that someone could brag and say, oh, I beat such and such. You know, like, oh my God, look at that, he's really garbage. Somebody will be like that. But I'm saying, but that's the point, man, is they don't know that, but they just want to have the bragging rights saying that they beat a pro player that everybody knows and loves. So that's why a lot of times they don't have those DM for sets like Sikander or shit. Sikander, he's not pro, but he is pro, if you get what I mean.
He'll play anybody. Sikander
will play anybody.
But there's
he's down for the shit.
By the way, how long do you got before you leave?
My alarm's about to go off in about less than 5 minutes, I think. But
I do gotta say, I didn't want to involve you in this. I wanted to run this all past you before I did it.
No, well, I'm like I said, the reason why I'm stepping in, because like I said, somebody's got to be the voice of reason somewhere. So, and I don't mind it at this point. But and I know this is going to there's a lot of rift that's happening right now, and the reason why a lot of this rift is happening is because y'all not talking. Like nobody's really reaching out and having a conversation outside of, oh, well, you need to check this person, you need to check that person, and that doesn't fly. Like that right there, when you go on somebody's stream and you start doing that and you start trying to talk about you're derailing somebody's stream. right? And it's no better than fucking gay bean stars doing that shit, right?
My
biggest you have to be careful with stuff like that.
Yeah,
now whether these people fuck with you after that, whether with people he's fucking with, hold on, let me finish.
Think about that.
Hold on, but he's not
negatively.
Yeah, but because you've already came in there with coming in there guns blazing, like you mentioned earlier, right? So what you have to understand is you got to know how to adjust certain things, and you got to know how to when and where to do certain shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. I understand.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with using I statements, TMF.
You know what I'm saying.
There's nothing wrong with you using I statements. I don't mean to interrupt, LG. I want to say there's nothing wrong with you using I statements, especially if you remember how you was telling me recently about a game that I knew nothing about, and I kept telling you, I said, bro, I don't know nothing about that shit. I literally don't know nothing about it. And it's like you wanted to try to tell me, but I couldn't really get on that level because I'm like, I don't know nothing about it. And another example, when I said I feel like I have some games to play, but I'm feeling a little burnt out on such games. And you're like, why don't you play this? Why don't you play this? And I'm like, it's not for me, you know? And you keep trying to say, why do you think it's not for you? And then in the end, I just sarcastically joke with you. And I'm saying, you're the type that doesn't take no for an answer, do you? You know, but that's just because I know you long enough to know how to deal with you in those situations. Like, I get it. You want me to broaden my horizons. You know, I get it.
Or find a game that you're burnt out on.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying.
I get that.
And that's what I'm saying. But see, the point is, right, that just comes with just dealing and knowing people, man. And sometimes, bro, you do get locked into those points where you're like, damn, you say certain things and not everybody receives it the way that you and that me and LG would receive it because we've known you long enough. Not everybody's going to think on that level, man. So you got to take you out of the equation, bro. And that's why right now you're in the conflicts that you're in.
No, I get it. I very rarely have had a conflict. What's funny is I haven't had a conflict like this for going on 3 to 4 years.
That's good. And I mean, right now, because
you can't say that now, man.
Yeah, so now
you can't fuck that little ass dog.
You know what I'm saying? Get the fuck out of here, bro. Go sit down.
Anyway,
before I go, my alarm just went off. Okay, that means I gotta go get shower and I gotta work tonight. So, but anywho,
I'll probably leave this up. But leave it up.
No, seriously, leave it up because, and I'm gonna say this before I go because I do gotta get up out of here, right? I don't mind being moderator if need be in certain situations. But personally, what you have to understand, and I'm gonna say this again, what you have to understand is that I understand where you're coming from, what you don't want, you know, your hobbies and stuff like that to die. You've seen the death of certain hobbies in your area, your local area. I get it.
I've seen it online.
You've seen it online. We've seen it. We've dealt with it. I get it. However, you cannot allow the PTSD of what you dealt with to fuck up potential friendships of new people, because even though that shit happened, you know what I'm saying, you want to use that as a way to cultivate better relationships. You know what I'm saying? Cultivate better relationships with different people. Yes, I know we're dealing with fucking all three of us are dealing with the fucking wannabe comics gay idiots that can't produce nothing but drama.
Not even comics. I get it.
Gamers and gamer stuff, right?
No, you know what? No, you know, majority of my growth recently has been coming from me streaming games, less than the other ones.
That's good, and I like that. So, but my thing is, I want you to kind of, if you can, cultivate that, and I get that you want to have that authenticity, and try to do it. Focus that on your own self. You know what I'm saying? The same standards that you try to put on people, put it on yourself. And if you feel like that's an issue for yourself, start adjusting, start realizing, okay, hey, this might be a little bit too much, that be too much. Let me adjust what I need to adjust and go from there. That's why, like, I can give people people think I'm too nice because I give people grace on shit, because I do understand that there's people going through different pieces of shit. You know what I'm saying? And people may not understand certain things. You know what I'm saying? So there might be some way.
I want to say this before you go too, LG. I want to tell you a story because this also happened to me on the job. There's a lady that I work with, right? Prime example of taking me out of the equation. Yeah. This lady I work with at my job, right? Oh my God. It's like anytime I try to explain the who, what, where, when, and why to her, she'll cut me off mid-sentence and try to just problem solve it instantly. And I'm like, I didn't even tell you the problem yet, you know?
Yeah.
And she'll just cut it. There's so much stuff she did, bro. She infuriated me one day. because I had enough of it. I was really one straw short of saying something I was going to regret that might get me in tongue lashing from my boss. But instead, because I already presented to my boss previously, so I said, you know what? If they ain't going to do something about it, maybe I need to. But then when it not, man, I was so furious. I tried not to think about it.
Yeah.
And then the one thing that I remember my father telling me, it cooled me down. And you know what it was? She's a woman.
Oh, get the fuck out of here, dog. Go sit down, bro.
But that's the truth.
But that's the truth.
It's true.
Though.
But yeah, it's true. But what I'm gonna tell you right now, as far as and Tiamat, let me just switch gears before I get up out of here. Now, you handle your business with TM with Toxic. Do what you gotta do, right? That's fine. Now, as far as Dark Riddler and Disparity are concerned, okay.
Oh, it's a dead matter to me.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I would say if you can, if possible, because really, like I said, Riddler's here, and I think it's mainly because I'm here. I'm assuming that, and you brought his name up, so that's two things there. But what you need to do is, like I would say, like I said, readjust how you approach stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like instead of talk about like, hey, you better check this person instead of third.
Oh no.
You know, certain people like just hey, I heard this and this and this from this person. Instead of going in there and trying to make other people fix their things for them, that it doesn't sound right at all. Like on some real shit. Just because I get it.
Wanted to talk. I said, why do you think I said what I said in your Discord? They're both invited. You're invited too.
Okay.
Always remember, man, when you go into other people's streams, bro, you can't fuck that little ass dog, okay? I'm sorry.
Anyway, but yeah,
I'm trying to lighten the mood.
No, you good. But let me get up out of here. I gotta get the shower running so I get to work tonight. Tonight's Sunday. So yeah, I was planning on playing Expedition 33 tonight, but that's not happening. I guess I'll play that when I get home. Yeah, I'll be
I've been trying to renew my lumens, but I've been doing it in the background.
But y'all be easy. Hey, like I said, if Disparity cleared it up with you, like I said, take your time. If you want to repatch that with Disparity, do it. Take your time. You know, it might take a bit. You know, y'all take the time to shoot the shit, do what y'all need to do.
Look, long story short in this, I'll say the problem is there's a mistake when people have bad blood. Bad blood doesn't clear itself up. It only gets worse.
Well, it only gets worse. It only gets worse when people, and I'm gonna say this before I go. The only way it gets worse, and I'm gonna kick back on you because you know I will. The only way it's gonna get worse is if there's no steps of getting better on either end, right? If Riddler says, "Hey, we're done, that's it," boom, that's it. Okay, drop it. Don't bring it up. Don't keep bringing his name up. I don't care how many times I come through your streams or you see me. If you see him in my stream, I don't care. Okay, don't bring it up. Just be cordial. Keep it fucking moving. That's it. Okay, member of the channel or not. You know, I'm gonna tell you straight. I'm gonna tell you straight up. I gotta keep it 100. You feel me? Okay, you got an issue with Toxic or TML6. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I understand. You think he's a black racist, whatever. That's cool. That's your business. You feel me? Yeah. But we all have different. You know, you got to keep in mind.
Not every day you get to have a conversation with a black supremacist.
That fair enough. All right, but I do got to get up out of here. Y'all kiddies be easy. I got work tonight. I'm about to go get this money. Yeah. You feel me? You know what I'm saying?
Black supremacists, man. That's Bloods and Crips, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Pretty much.
Bro, put your ass on somewhere. Put your ass in the fucking house. Nigga.
Joke.
Nah, that's the truth, bro.
Y'all be easy. I will
say this, though. I have nothing against, Riddler.
Don't forget about OG Two-Tone, bro.
No, look. A lot of this was a situation with bad blood. It's like certain people don't communicate themselves well. Like last time.
Well, nobody's perfect, man. Like I said, people don't get you like that.
No. Let me say this here. When my PR doesn't go south a lot. The problems that I have is usually
it does with Comicsgate.
Shit. Yeah, no. I don't.
It does because no cat, Ruby King and them will respect you, but they look at you every time they see me and they're like, "Why you fuck with that nigga?"
Oh no, that's more a record. Is I'm used to dealing with people more off the record than like publicly, because publicly what people do, I'm more of a person, I'd rather deal with you privately than publicly, because if one thing I have learned from being online too much, or online as long as I have in certain aspects, sometimes I'm too quick to do the gun. Like, if someone, it's very weird in a social media presence, because TM06, think about this, but I'm going to ask you, you judge people who judge everybody by just what they see on social media, and I saw that in his space, I see that in people around. They can't differentiate. Now, I was like, okay, maybe he's doing it for a bit. There's a point where creators do stuff for bits, and I understand that. I just I detest feeding
You
it
know what
out.
I think is a great. I was just looking into this recently. There was someone that goes by the name. This couple, this Asian couple, go by the name MRX Plays. They were wrongfully banned on YouTube because of the content they produce. It's mostly a bunch of reacts and stuff, but they're funny, they're cool, they're laid
You're
back. Like
talking
I like it.
about no, you're talking about what is that?
Henry and Jeannie.
Huh?
Henry and Jeannie, MRX Plays. Yeah, them.
Yeah, RMX. Yeah, I know that channel because that channel's been around a while.
Yeah,
Like, they
and they
were
were
one of the
wrongfully
people.
banned.
I don't know. Did they get their main channel back?
Yeah, they just got it back.
Jesus, because they were a staple of YouTube. But
Yeah, like bro. My point though is that like they don't do shit just to do it or for the bits and shit like that like most motherfuckers would when they need some extra money in their pockets from
React,
people
no,
that just
the
are
React
miserable as
meta,
them.
no, the React meta is an entirely different meta. They got in
Mhm.
trouble when everyone started doing the React meta. That's what got
I don't
them.
know, man. Well, here's my thing about the React meta. The React meta ain't bad. It's just you got to give people the shout outs of what you're reacting to, and most people don't want to do that, and that's the problem. So like for instance, when I say I'm quote unquote EFAPing Tiamat or your stream or LG stream, right? And I'm literally tagging y'all so that way y'all know, hey, like I fucks with y'all, so I'm supporting you. Now I don't entirely know the whole thing about EFAPing streams and shit. I just say it because it's like, well, that's the current term the cool kids use, so I'm gonna use it. Okay. But at least, but at least I'm doing it trying to be respectful to my friends. So that's why I do it.
The problem in a nutshell, because the React meta, this gets a lot of small creators who do it. Like, they're just going to either steal the video or do it.
I mean, but bro, look at how many times people have thrown LTG's videos out there. You know what I mean? There's a lot of fuck shit that when it comes to these content creations that some people, the best thing you can do now is really, from what I see about people, is they make a bunch of LTG videos based on how he fucks up, and I'm just like, bro, that's sad to see, but apparently it's working. I can't knock it, but I can knock it at the same time. So my point to all this is, man, is like, yeah, there's a lot of people that out here that are on their T-Pain shit in love with grifters, man. I don't know why, but they are. There ain't a damn thing we can do about it. All I'm telling you though, man, is I said, because you seen how I react to niggas and shit. I just don't want people lying on me. I don't want you lying on me. Want to talk about me? At least come with the right receipts. If you want to know something, ask me. You know. But if you don't know something entirely, then you shouldn't have talked about it. Right or wrong. Hello? I must have got cut out. Ah, shit. I think my shit died. Yo, can you hear me?
Sadly, a woman needs attention, and I'll have to give it to him. He'll last all but 5 minutes.
No, go ahead and bring him in. I was wondering when y'all was going to bring him in.
So, I'll leave this
I
up.
was wondering when you was going to bring him in.
This is not going to be YouTube friendly, the conversation I have with him. So, unfortunately, due to TOS and other reasons, I can't have it on stream.
Oh, God.
Because we are bound by the rules of our masters, quote unquote, sometimes. The gods before us are sometimes more prescient.
Why didn't you just have him on the Discord call, man?
Yeah, to be fair, I have him blocked on Discord for a reason. Anyways, but I'll leave this up, but I'm going to have to expand this out. But a lot of it's misunderstanding. The problem, the way people portray themselves. The problem I had is it went from one community to another. Like TMO6 is a product in ball washer of basically disparity, and he says he isn't, but he'll confirm every bit of it. But he's also a very big racist and a person he has like he's self-important.
Hey, disparity?
No, TMO6. Theo, how do you feel about a person who you can ask him yourself? He has the opinion black people should be in slavery again. This is what a conversation I'm going to have. And
before you do, I gotta sign in on my PC. So bring me back in.
This will still be here.
It will.
I think you can still get an invite.
Yeah, I'm just
I can still invite you, I believe, as long as I don't end it.
Yeah, just let me leave this way. I just gotta jump back in it, which is what I'm trying to do right now, but I can't yet until I get.
I'll wait till you get in, because in case it does happen.
Okay,
it shouldn't happen on StreamYards, but it does happen.
No. Be right back.
The biggest thing is, if there's issues between creators need to be honest with themselves. A lot of creators do not conduct themselves on social media as they should. I know of entire creators that act a fool. And they act like a fool on social media for clicks. They don't realize it looks bad. It brings eyes on you that you should never have. It also brings a lot of misunderstanding. Basically. And that's the problem. It's like TMO6 also likes to talk about stuff. But he'll be the first one to openly consume as well. Yeah, he can't afford half the games he wants to buy, but he'll go into the background. He'll talk publicly like he doesn't deal with emulators. You should buy the actual cartridges. But I caught him on the record as saying that. I'm just like, my guy, I saw this coming a mile away. You know, it's one of these people. But all in all, you have fun. I will be streaming maybe Expedition 33. I'm in the process of redoing my Luminas because I'm at a very tough point in the game that I've had to play off stream. So it's all fun. I got to go farm more stuff up. But till then, see people next week. And Riddler, I'm not mad at you. I should have not did what I did. And I've always just wanted a conversation. And I'm not a hard person to reach. Very easy, in fact. Anyone who ever has to reach me, I'm very easy to reach. Unfortunately, some days I'm better than others. But tomorrow I should have like Expedition 33.
Y'all want to rock with me on Kick?
Yeah, he does. What you do? Marvel Rivals.
I do a lot of things.
Okay, he plays Marvel Rivals and fighting.
I'm probably gonna be playing that tonight though because I'm tired as fuck. I literally just got in the door, as y'all can tell.
Yes, as I said, you go take care. You make your bag. I go my own. I got to go back and finish out these Lumina points, and then I'm trying to redo builds. Someone who says in TMO6 basically hates Expedition 33 and think people only playing it for cap. LOL, tells how stupid he is. But this will be a fun conversation. Not YouTube friendly. But tomorrow, Expedition 33, I think I'm halfway through the game. But I can hope. Because my characters sit at 32 and I got like a couple of more regions. But I still got to beat a lot of the chromas. Anyways, catch people tomorrow.
So why does he say that black folks should be in